reroll. Both players don't end up in the top 4, and unfortunately for Taro, we saw dire situation in stage 4, rolling to 0 every round to try and find the Seraphine. Couldn't do so in the end. It was in 8th place. On the flip side, Eggy, another reroll composition, a 4th place once again. Only 2 bot 4s this entire tournament, and he's been playing every single game, a 2-cost reroll, mostly Seraphine, mostly Senna, again finding success.
I want to say, even though Taro did leave us with an 8, he did leave us with some tech as well, as he found the infusion and the blue buff on the Seraphine, allowing her to cast auto attacks.
Tes anjay. Malam Pit, malam. Maaf, ngaret. Gua kaget gua lolos Nusantara Cup game 1. Udah begitu lolos, ada lagi anjing. Baru beres jam segini, goblok anjing. Harusnya gue dari awal gak usah lolos kalian kayaknya anjing. Kayak kalau gue gak lolos kalian lebih better deh. Gak telat tuh anjing. Ngerpes gue, tusun sama anjing. Enak aja. Game 1 gue main Kyler Hero, itu nge-hit. Game yang pertama banget tuh. Asik nih. Ntar gua kena copyright anjing kalau lagi gini-gini ada lagunya tai. Aneh, Cok. Masa Nobar gua kemarin kena copyright gara-gara di sininya nih pas dia ngoceh-ngocehnya ada ini anjing, ada lagu-lagu copyright goblok anjing. Game 1 tadi gua main Kyle, ngehit tuh Kyle-nya, sukses tuh. Iya. Kerja bagus. Game 2 gue tadi mau main Kyler Hero, udah dapat duluan, cuma nggak dapat lagi. Pivot ke arah AD Flex gara itemnya, nah tusun. Udah. Game 3 terakhir kan, udahlah, udah pasti nggak lolos main disco kan. Iya Cok, masalahnya kena copyright yang itu tuh. Kemarin kan kita nobar kan, begitu dia di sininya ngoceh-ngoceh kan ada lagu-lagu tuh. Kena copyright anjing. Makanya sekarang kalau lagi ngoceh-ngoceh nunggu mulai gini gue mute aja dah. Kenapa nggak main revenge sekalian, ngapain anjing? Lobby gue sih dari tadi main revenge tusun semua Cok. Ada flex asu kena begal recall anjing. Tahu anjing. Pusing. Mending kita nunggu set 10. Set 11. Ini siapa deh nge-friend? Ini gue Cok. Agak jelas. Ada nge-add Steam gua aneh tuh. Bit Augment 8 bit bagus nggak? Scam aja. Scam Cok, kalau lu nggak jadi mah. Pan 8 saking nervesnya nggak lihat 3 orang pakai AD Flex. Banyak Cok. AD Flex sudah pasti banyak, soalnya kalau lu ngomongin kayak ini kan yang diambil top 1, top 2 gitu. Kalau lu mau ngambilnya top 1, top 2 ya chance paling gedenya ya lu judi AD Flex Cok. Chance paling gede lu menang ya judi AD Flex. Tapi ini kamera gue kayaknya keubah deh gara-gara Kegeser. Mending. Stream bisu kayak mau aja. Ah, ini sengaja, kalau enggak nanti kena copyright anjing mager, Cok. Kita jam 9, lagi mana baru beresnya jam segini ya. Bang aku climbing di DM2 plusnya dikit minusnya banyak normal kalau MMR lu jelek mah. Normal. Ini ngoceh-ngocehnya udah kan. Masih ada lagunya anjing ah. Nanti gua kena copyright. Nah, ini udah mulai. Nah. Lolos nggak Bang Nusantara? Kagak nih.
To level 9 when they know that the tempo is enough, they have like the perfect balance on spending gold and stabilizing their composition to later.
Gue jadi di match pertama nggak ngehit Tusun ke-7. Sama, gue game pertama nggak ngehit Tusun. Game 2 disco udah.
That more are going for volatility, but for now, prismatic final.
Pojok kiri bawah anomali. Mana coy yang kemarin webcamnya aneh itu loh, yang gelap semua anjing. Kok nggak ada sih?
Want to give a shout out to Bintum and Kokaken both, who both are predicted to not be able to make it anymore.
Ceritain soal Nusantara. Udah tadi, Cok. Gue lolos game 1 main Kyle. Game 2 mau Kyle. Nggak dapet pivot, ada flex, Tusun. Game 3 disco. Udah anjing.
Of the games that these players get to play in order to break into that top 8.
So
this is
really
going, it's really tough. And
gue nggak begitu suka sih dia ngadain turnamennya kayak gini. Kayak nggak bagus anjing dia ngadain turnamennya, Cok. Kayak kurang persiapan gitu loh. Di satu sisi oke lah dia mencoba cek ombak gitu kan, yang minat banyak gak sih tuh? Begitu yang daftarnya 1000 pusing sendiri ya nih.
But don't forget, we still have $450,000 of prizing that these players play for. And while you would be eliminated from that final,
ini kan udah ada izin buat cosplay, masa masih kena copyright? Masih kena di lagu-lagunya. Kayak mereka muter lagu itu ada copyright. Anjing, gue juga bingung makanya kok ada tulisan kena copyright. Yang guru juga sama. Lobby gue neraka, lawannya challenger top 12 lah ya, gimana cuy? Kalau kayak dia sistemnya top 4 lolos gitu pakai poin atau enggak, itu masih mending. Kayak lu masih bisa try hard gitu loh. Ya kalau udah kayak BO satu game doang diambil top 1, ya udahlah, ikhlasin tuh. Cuma ya harapan kedepannya mereka ngadainnya lebih proper lah gitu. Jangan ini banget anjir. Satu game doang udah top 1. Siap sejago-jagonya orang main kalau nggak ngehit kalahnya main hoki anjing.
And now Ryu also going for the meditation, trying to go for that speed of using the economy to elevate the level. And this is one of my favorites. Kokaken using Stars Are Born, and now that.
Bahkan tadi di lobby gue ada yang ngomong, ini turnamen aneh dah. Kayaknya di shop ikutan turnamen ini juga kalah. Dia mau main AD Flex sejago apa? Iya anjing, orang diambil top 1. Karena kebanyakan orang sepertinya. Sebenarnya masih bisa. Kayak yang hari ini deh, lu dibagi 3 game. Yang game pertama jam 3, game kedua jam 4, game ketiga jam 5. Yang ronde satunya ya, gue ngomongin ronde 1. Itu kalau lo mau main 3 game ngambil top 4 dari placement juga bisa gitu loh. Mainnya jadi 3 game. Tapi mereka milihnya jadi cuma 1 game. Yang menurut gue ya udah. Mau gimana tuh? Bang kamu telat nggak? Iya telat aja Nusantaranya tuh. Bangin lolos nggak? Enggak deh.
Lily on the bench as well, so you can get the super fan in later.
Kalau kayak ronde 1 gua kan main anjing Kyle. Jadi tiba-tiba di shop ada 5 Kyle nih. Langsung bintang 3 udah tinggal ketawa-ketawa anjing.
Super fans and friends.
Emang nggak expect yang daftar banyak ya? Iya, mereka kaget juga sih. Ya, harapan kedepannya doang punya better system, soalnya kalau yang sekarang dia ini banget apa namanya, kalau yang sekarang soalnya kelihatan dia tuh cek ombak cuma kurang persiapan aja. Absen yang lolos, anjoy lolos cenah. Udah ada wildcard lagi kuat. Ih, gue gak ngerti itu yang wildcardan. Gue tadi sempat masuk TM-nya kan. Wildcard apaan dah, gue bilang gue gak ngerti anjing. Biar apa tuh? Next per pula goblok anjing, per pula. Bang anjing. Main TFT per pula goblok anjing. Semoga semakin serius di Indonesia ya. Gue bahkan kalau misalkan mereka nih alasannya kayak iya kita kurang orang, nggak ada yang handle, gue mau gue bantuin anjing, gue bantuin handle cok, daripada turnamennya jadinya aneh begini cok. Kalau mereka kurang orang buat ngehandle turnamennya, bahkan gue mau aja. Wildcard trade-nya Ken ya? Iya cok anjing. Ada Ken 3 biji anjing tadi di roll di technical meeting. Goblok anjing. Next dibatasi pesertanya, sebenarnya nggak dibatasin nggak? Ya gitulah, antara lo mau batasin biar jumlahnya selalu genap atau gimana gitu. Dari kabupaten sampai nasional. Ini turnamen TFT ya catur sih, bukan catur begitu yang antar RT anjing, beda goblok. Iya sih mainnya catur, tapi bukan catur yang itu, beda anjing kejuaraannya goblok anjing. Tolol. Jadi keterima gue tadi main sampai game 3. Main daftar berapa ya? Daftar 1.228. 1.228 orang kan. Panitianya langsung puyeng tuh. Anjing rame banget. Mepet kualifikasi 2 hari 1.000 orang. Ya bisa dibikin kayak turnamen ini kan berapa game. Cuma gua rasa kalau dia pakai sistem yang kayak Worlds ini kan, yang tiap lobby di roll orangnya pakai poin, kayaknya nggak mungkin menurut gua, soalnya ini kan masih baru gitu loh, belum kebentuk gimana banget komunitasnya. Cuma ya at least nggak yang top 1 doang diambil gitu loh. Jujur-jujuran aja kentang, kayak lu bayangin nih orang-orang kan, gua tahu ada Discordnya streamer si Neko tuh yang kemarin juara di sini, dia bikin Discord isinya orang-orang Indo yang poinnya gede-gede di master. Tiap hari nge-scream anjing buat Nusantara Cup, cok, lu bayangin tiap hari nge-scream, begitu tahu turnamen, lah anjing top 1 doang katanya. Lah anjing, terus ngapain nge-scream cok, main tiap scream 4 game 5 game, yang diambil cuma top 1 anjing. Next Jawa Open goblok aja. Aslinya dari komunitas pasti banyak yang mau bantu, alasan kurang orang nggak masuk akal sih. Mungkin emang, gua rasa emang karena baru aja. Ya, dari komunitas banyak nih yang mau bantu. Cuma kan si orangnya sendiri juga kayak ini, dia nggak tahu gitu siapa yang buat ngambil orang buat dibantunya tuh, siapa yang mau diambil gitu. Mungkin karena baru doang. Pak itu strategi Riot agar top player replace turnamen kayak gini mah sebenarnya nyarinya yang jago-jago, cok. Ngapain dulu nyari, lo ikut turnamen tapi yang menang yang hoki anjing. Ngerti gak sih, kayak kalau top player udah kayak tiap game top 4 tuh enak gitu, kelihatan lama-lama kesaring. Yang hoki 1 game doang dia bisa ke next gamenya nggak tentu hoki, ya udah gitu loh. Berapa round? Apa? World ini round 6 game. Ini harus 3 game lagi udah beres anjing.
you can say it's a good bet.
I was hoping you'd sell me.
Nusantara Hockey Open.
Like, oh, it got a good place. It went second.
Coba devnya aja
Third.
komunikasi sama
Is it
komunitas
big?
buat sistem yang di Indo
No one
gimana.
see that.
Sure.
Gua
Again, the other one together with Bintim with no possibility.
kalau gue jadi orang Riotnya juga gue bingung sih kayak terus ini gimana gitu loh.
Strategy, as you said, they could go for high risk, high reward in case to trying to go for upper level. Or also
Gue setim sama abang-abang mulu nggak dapet adik-adik. Gue game 1 doang tuh dapet yang adik-adik anjing.
to get good steps and maybe get a good placement to win more money of the prize pool.
Certainly all possibilities because that prize pool is
Kokaken main 8-bit.
We're starting to get into the stage
Mana
now
tuh
where
ini
after we
Kokaken
see the
masih
second
lihat-lihat
choice,
dulu tuh.
players are really gonna start
TF nggak
to
sih?
commit to
Anjoy.
what they want to play for this game. And we're seeing Kokaken hold on to quite a few different units here.
Rumahnya aja nggak stabil, gue serem sama Challenger dan Iron. Ya
Ya
kalau itu kan di random gitu loh. Senanya di skip. Oh udah deh. Oh anjing!
He passed his head.
Anjing langsung bintang 3 goblok anjing. Halo.
He's looking out for him. Yeah, rewarded actually. He thought about it. He got the true damage Senna. He had only one, and he said, "I don't know. I'll risk it." And he actually gets the Seraphine very early.
Kuro mana bang tidur kayaknya.
Si
Kuro. Dia kan gak ikut Nusantara Open. Kalau misalkan dia bangun harusnya dari tadi dia nobar tuh. Ini kagak anjing kayaknya tidur dah. Bisa gitu iri lah ya. Tinggal pencet D nge-hit anjing, tinggal just hit anjing. Easy game, just hit. Itu Nobar. Diem lu bang, aku tusun. Oh tuh, ada flex juga jelek tuh anjing. Tusun tuh. Reroll anjing paling bener kelas 2, goblok dibegal anjing. Kalau gua mah cuma asal nggak di kontes doang, jadi kecuali Jess ya, Jess yang Bart MF. Terus sisanya gua, iya. Cuma yang kalau kayak kos 2 flex itu gua hatam anjing. Gua R1 lawan Mario TFT, bejir. Kokaken yang kemarin listrik 10 menang sekali abis itu koit dia cok. Room gua tabrakan ada flex 3 orang termasuk gua. Tiap room itu pasti berebut ada flex berempat orang anjing. Udahnya sisanya nggak tahu mau main apa. Biasanya yang ranknya ini kecil-kecil kan, orang-orang pada baru main kayak main apa ya gitu, nggak tahu, tiba-tiba ada Corki 3, Olaf 3 gitu, entah apa tahu aja. Cuma biasanya yang di atas-atasnya tuh antara yang udah ngerti terus main reroll atau enggak ada flex udah aja. Pilihannya itu doang aja.
That's actually an Ezreal doing Urgot cosplay. It's actually very soon we will see the change, and now he's being totally destroyed by Kokaken.
Gue mau main Riven item APKB, main Risco cok item AP itu.
He has no possibility of going from day 3.
Tau main Lulu. Jadi Lulu juga bisa sebenarnya kalau item lu AP semua. Gak jadi Riven kan pindah ke Lulu. Gua lebih sering ngehit Lulu 3 ketimbang Kyle aja. Aneh tuh Kyle. Riven. Riven gua nggak pernah bisa ngehit sampai sekarang. Kalah round 2, kalah Lambijo, aku gonek anjing. Tusun. Enakan lihatnya kalau dibuka semua gini burk nih. Ya. Nih, ini nih gambaran Nusantara tadi, cok. Berebut ada flex 4. Reroll 4 anjing. Semua lobby Nusantara begini ya. Lolos ke ronde 3 nggak? Enggak Fahmi. Gonek wah. Udah kembali jadi jalan yang benar tuh streamer Nobar anjing. Dia udah sepi ya. Game sepi. Tapi ada sih tadi yang main Lux 3. Menang lagi.
Both of these are kind of, you don't hate them, but it's also not.
Sena hilang, ada flex hilang anjing. Ya, gua nanti mau nge-spam Lux aja anjing. Ada yang ngepung gak bang?
I would say either A- or B+ tier for cost.
Egi dari SG, iya Egi dari SG. Si Egi sama Kejaos itu dari SG.
Obviously going for the EDM line, and now with the faith absolutely for here for Dunison, he gets the set. He actually doesn't
Nusantara
need it.
di stream nggak? Enggak, gue nggak mau stream Nusantara. Mager
We're
tuh.
starting round 3-5. He's actually looking for the ribbon. He won't sell now. He won't pop off. He will try to wait. He knows he's pretty strong so far, so he will wait until the next round of neutral and then do a big roll down looking for the ribbon.
Surely you want to wait until you're level 7 first, so go a little bit for that level. But I don't know what Kokaken did in that previous.
Ya udah gue off stream dulu bentar ya,
found the Ari pair right after, and now
anjing tuh dekok Ari gini bro anjing.
There is Mordog's blessing, Mordog's favorite child.
Iya juga ada Ilawing ngentot.
I think you might be right about that one. I mean, look at how the Aries are working in tandem. This Kale does not stand a chance. And Almumu here, really
Bang Simpanser round 2 nomor 1 2 kali. Ya, keren. Diserta di blaze sama Mordog.
When you have the double Ginsu is because you need the ramp up, and now the red buff you have a little of AoE, so actually you can burn from the damages of the rest, avoid the healing. So I'm good. Normally
overlay-nya kayak kurang enak dilihat. Itu dari sananya, Cok. Ini gue cuma nyetel YouTube TFT doang kan. Teamfight Tactics udah.
So the kill has the chance to ramp up.
And that's something a lot of people have been saying.
Kalian malah nggak lolos filter awal, tau menang round 1. Iya, Cok. Round 1 gue menang udah. Jadi telat anjing gue nobar ya gara lolos round 1. Harusnya gue tusun aja goblok anjing. Harusnya gue tusun aja, Cok. Anjing gue mau nobar anjing. Kenapa nggak ada yang ngepang? Orang kemarin ada anjing udah tusun. Set 10 naik gue sih nggak. Gue pengen cepet-cepet set 11 ada PBE ada, gue main PBE aja anjing. Fuck headliner itu.
Yeah, you can go super vertical pentakill and really make it work out here. But
poinku udah 3 digit, keren.
On how Bintum has started to stabilize. That feels really nice here. 60 seconds also going to be heading into the wolf space.
Udah bosen anjing mau main setting. Apa pula ini, Cok? Ari 2 biji ke shotnya, Cok.
You want to see in terms of the units that pop out of those orbs, but it's nice for Econ.
We're getting closer for Dunizuni. Has now sold off that Garen. But hasn't found the Riven headliner just yet. This is for sure.
Aku punya ini. Mana nih?
So we are going to keep our eyes open for that one.
For sure, let's see if he hits. He's trying to look any chosen ribbon, any headliner ribbon, especially the 8-bit, to try to go for the full cap as a possibility. And he has the emblem.
8-bit anjing, no?
Immediately, the 8-bit emblem.
Nge-cheat anjing.
Really want the headliner 8.
Oh, yang kiri nyari. Di kiri juga ada Tom anjing. Hah? Goblok. Nge-cheat anjing.
You need the headliner, you need the extra copies. And thus far, there's not so many ribbons showing up. Does he actually want to commit? Does he want to roll more? Doesn't seem like he's staying here.
Orang Korea udah pasti dapat Tom. Bayar lolos nggak? Enggak. Kurang mana? Nggak tahu tidur. Gambaran final Nusantara, bukan final anjing. Kon 1 anjing. Kok kayak antek namanya? Iya, Cok. Kok kayak antek. Oke anjing. Di shop main apa nih? Harusnya dia main ini, Cok. Adik-adik.
Go for a specific augment that will help their comp. And if not Bintium, in this case, going for the double dummy as a possibility, giving a good crowd control. Lotus here.
Dari Indo suka gocek-gocek dari SG anjing dari Indo. Anjing dapet itu, Cok. Ripen. Yang kiri tengah kiri. Min 1 coy. Ada Jin tuh. Jin 8-bit, Cok. Ayo, Cok.
Maybe he wants to stay here. The rest of the lobby right now is also not looking like it's strong.
Dia tapi nggak akan nge-call lagi sih itu udah enak.
But he doesn't want to roll too far past.
Anjing udah 8-bit lagi Riven. Enak banget sih orang-orang.
He wants to get the core key in as soon as possible. And he wants to be able to go to
Iya.
level 8. So he
Tapi
needs
dia-
to stay with some gold.
Ya
try to
itemnya nggak
get
the best
ribbon
sih,
as
cuma
early
ya
as
udah lah.
possible, but don't burn the full gold, because when he gets the 6 bit, like in a more natural way, he could go for a really top one in this round.
He could, but to get there, he needs to live first and foremost, and those losses are not really doing Dunizuni any
Aku punya
favor.
ini.
Speaking of, more and more players are taking damage. We have reached stage
Riven Giant
4.
Slayer, oke,
And for
ya,
Dish,
oke.
though, who's currently at the bottom of the standing,
Oke,
haven't
oke
really
doang.
seen that setup
Anjing,
online
beceng
just
gak
yet
sih?
that he locked himself into right from the start.
Yeah, Degree, Dunizuni, and Dish Soap are all on loss streaks at the moment. Where on the flip side of things, you got Zuyue and Kokaken who
Mana
are
ya?
still win streaking through the stage. They're
Kapan dia nge-hit Riven duit 40 bangsat anjing?
turn this around.
Nge-cheat goblok.
Great spot. Now he needs to eliminate the possibility of crowd control. He actually needs that a lot. Only 2 items for the ribbon, and now he faces off
Cheat
with the
anjing
board
ini
of
orang,
Arceus
Cok.
in mid stakes. So a good area, a good front line.
Mau kamu
Still
nggak bisa
missing the
nggak
set.
tahu anjing ini
I
nge-cheat
think
tai.
for the ribbon,
Nggak
let's
jelas,
see
Cok.
play with this comp.
Okay, look at the Zag. It's bouncing around.
Gue tadi round 2 nggak begini lah ya, nggak tahu anjing ini nge-cheat Cok, anjing nggak jelas. Mampus ke stun.
So bad to see this 3-star ribbon
Dunizuni.
come online and not be able to
Dunizuni.
get as quickly as you might like it to, giving
Tyler.
Ezreal some time
Anjing,
to just
anjing.
deal with this.
Anjing, bener.
Online, and just like that, Dunizuni
Hing,
has
menang,
that
goblok.
stabilization.
Suaramu
That's
eko ya
worked out
kah?
as well
Eh,
with how much HP
saya udah
he's
nggak
lost. He
tergeser
gets
ke
first
tadi.
pick on this carousel,
Filter
and there are
ekonya
plenty
tuh.
of gloves to go around.
Yeah, 2 as of right
Persen
now.
bisa bikin
If
blatters
it's
tapi
over to take
dia
one,
slam
he
GS.
can get
Masanya kalau dia bikin blatters GSS dia nggak akan jadi. Makanya ya udahlah GS.
because it can go exactly
Dia
like
butuh
just
si
saw
cloaknya
cheese
buat
right
KSS.
into that backline,
KSS kan
gets
wajib.
stunned,
Riven
and then
tuh
it's just shell shock. Nothing
berhijab,
happens.
cuy.
She'll
Riven nggak
choose
lengkap
that
kalau nggak
barrier,
hijab,
don't do
cuy.
any damage, and that is it. That's all gonna be Shiro.
For sure. Now he's going to start thinking about the Kaling and start thinking about how else can he caps his war. Maybe
Yang penting harus
include
ada
Lucian,
hijabnya kalau Riven.
Maybe include Jazz even as a possibility to get a little more front, but he decides
Anjing.
to go and
Anjing!
stabilize. He decides to go for the 8-bit emblem on the Viego. That's the normal.
Si anjing punya itu
position,
juga, Cok.
The normal place we will see it, and later we could see it in the Lucian.
Looking at
Udah menang sih dia
we're
harusnya, Cok.
talking about him, he is basically already safe with as many games as are coming yet. Amumu finding that kill 3 there on the right hand side. Playing Heartsteel this game, we're getting closer and closer to
Kemana?
the cash out
Ada
of
apa?
200 stacks.
That's a lot of hearts right there. And against this Seraphine 3, it's a pretty good chance of being able to lose.
Riven tanpa
yet
KSS hanya
another
mbak-mbak
time,
diem di pojokan.
giving them an
Iya anjing.
opportunity to start
Butuh
to get
hijab
some of
cuy.
these big board upgrades in. But this is going to be a work for the Kane, work
Lihat
for
tuh.
the Seraphine.
Capek-capek ada
Is going to
flex.
provide Degree just a couple of extra stacks. But this cash
Kalahnya
out is gonna
kena
need to be
pedur,
massive
anjing.
so that you can get these units in.
Okay, let's see it. There's the cash out, some gold, and a tome. In Heartsteel, it's not amazing to have a tome. Maybe Brawler, if he can find a Iraoi, let's see what he gets. He decides not to pop off. He wants to roll first. He's very low in life. Now
Kenapa
he's
lihat?
and looking for something. This is a good. This is very okay.
Nyebelin anjing.
No.
No, he already has the
Not
set.
that
He
one.
already has the set. Yeah.
Yeah.
He goes for a little more front line. He's lacking actually items. He doesn't have items. He has only one item in his tank. He
Mosa
has,
Rapid
the
Fire,
Looted
Guardian,
item on his
Glor,
carry.
Guardian
So
nggak
that's what
sih?
he actually has a good skeleton of composition, but it's not enough, given that the damage is not going through.
At least the Guardian emblem does something here, and you can actually get that Guardian trait unlocked. So not the worst of it all, but surely not really what you were hoping for with as little gold and as little HP as you have right now.
Satu
on
lobby
the
semuanya
side.
punya
Let's see how it
Tom of
goes.
Trade,
The
man.
only
Gaib,
unit
cuy.
that's left standing is
Ezrealnya gak ketarik. Ezrealnya gak ketarik anjing.
Just a smidge stronger.
Just a little bit. That front line was a little awkward as well. From
Yeah, for sure.
Degree.
And we need to remember, Degree is
Aku menarik
actually in
still
a
udah
great
masuk ke
spot
rank
to
ya
go
sekarang.
to
Enggak.
day 3.
Cuma
If he get
ada
a bad
emblem
loss
apa
here,
Augment Heartsteel
maybe
juga nggak ada yang
opens
ngambil
up
aja
a little
biasanya.
the possibility, but he's actually
Kalau
great.
dapet just
he's
emblem
very much
gacor.
guaranteed.
Segini aja udah bagus coy.
3 more games,
paling bagus just emblem sih, cuma ini aja udah oke.
The cutoff is going to be around 60, so I'm not too
Di
worried
shop
about
gemoy
three,
padahal
but
suaranya
Bishop,
berat, goblok.
That's a different story. We're on 6 HP there. Senna 3 now online, but is that going to be enough? Let's take a look at that board.
Pusing nih.
It's tough to say.
Ayo Mamang.
These Senna items are
Mamang di
not
shop,
pretty.
kamu pasti
Like,
bisa
they're not the
Mamang
ones
di
that you
shop.
would generically think about.
Ya bisa yuk.
Super fast.
Mamang di
Great
shop.
call there, so you can start to rebuild this with the Rabadons that you've held
Naik level
on
masuk
to. Now
Kiana
you
sih.
get them okay. Now we're chilling. That's good.
I had the same feeling
Oh,
as you. I was
salvage
like, oh my
bin.
Lord, what is going on?
Anjing.
Best, but it is
Selpek
all
bin coy.
Power of salvage bin, as we would say.
Anjay.
Those items were looking a little
Edan.
suspect, but Dish Soap is one of those players we've seen use this augment to such high potential.
Sena
The
lagi.
potential to
Reroll enjoyer tuh.
on his comp, he's sitting on a
Game satunya dia tadi gua nonton ada flexnya nggak ngehit apa-apa ini.
And Dish Soap to be eliminated in this round.
right hand side, you are seeing a matchup.
Udah 6
between
TD
those
sih,
two
harusnya
cross
aman
rerolls,
ini
and I
kuat
think
Pak.
on
Oh,
the back end of that true damage emblem.
anjing.
And
Waduh sih aja di quit.
but only
Menang hoki anjing di shop goblok.
in there.
Degree trying to go for it, only the bard is left,
Ih.
but the sack looks very, very strong. I think it's not
Cium.
enough. He's still 16 HP, so it's a loss, but it's not the end. So the
Dibantu sistem ya, Cok, anjing.
And keep climbing on his actually.
Nih dek katanya, kamu pusing tenang
We
katanya.
have seen those 80 flex boards
Nih,
sometimes
Dek.
be the boon or the bane of some of these players. But 62nd at the moment is looking to
Kok
be
pada punya
in
spatula
a
sih?
similar spot here as Degree, still on a last streak, still looking
Lu
for
bayangin 48 bit
Yeah,
anjing
specifically,
Caitlyn
you
tuh.
really won
Harus
that.
setir
Ezreal
ini
to
apa,
recruit,
anjing?
running a Cade headliner. It's not
Itu
that
apa,
big.
anjing?
Agree, the story
Eh,
is very similar. You kind
ini
of
apa lagi? Ada Lucian,
like,
Cok.
but not the one you would have wanted, the one
Halo?
you were given, and you're running into comms like that Kale reroll on the other
Tyler
side.
reroll,
For the
satu
Greek,
AD
Dish
flex.
Soap is given what you
Mamang
want
di
it
shop,
to be
Cok.
for the other players. There's an Ezreal
Cerot.
who is popping off.
Ah, menang ini mah Mamang.
If the Senna does
Eh,
it here, she should be strong
nggak
enough
jadi.
if she can find that
Nggak
hit.
jadi Senanya tolol anjing.
Yeah,
Wah,
so the
dimainin Cok, Senanya tolol anjing.
going to be interesting here.
Kasian.
So, getting knocked out.
Oh, very difficult.
Senanya dipakai main sama itu, anjing.
Target, but she actually cannot do it in the end. One before
Sama Ezreal anjing.
is confirmed in 8th place with this position.
Tinggal
and
berapa
Degree
health-nya di
still
shop?
has
Nol.
to keep some
Nol.
points, while we see at the left 60 seconds or Degree now going. As you were saying, Mace, normally you don't
Cing.
want this crowd driver sack, you want the EDM or you want to go for another place, but actually it has all the elements to be a strong.
Keren nih ini nih.
Let's see if we can try to go to level 9, include the
Level
additional
8 level 9 8 bit AD flex itu real
We have
coy.
15 gold.
with faith.
Ini apa?
With faith.
If you believe hard
Ini
enough,
apa?
you can
Oh,
too have a
Yeah,
level
because
9
there's
board.
nothing more he can do in level 8. He already has the main pieces in place and
Anjing itu ada yang Yorick bintang 2.
Alright, well, Bentam's going up against a ghost board.
Loh.
Degree is able to potentially turn things around, heading up against
Anjing challenge.
flex
Wah.
board of 60 seconds.
Lo liat gak Zed?
Who's
Anjing.
gonna have the better board? That Thresh actually had a huge CC
Setnya
on the
punya
backline.
Eon ya goblok kok Zednya gitu anjing.
Powerful backline unit. This Ezreal being the one star, and of
What the
course
fuck?
that Alawi in the front is going to allow Degree to hang on 60 seconds though.
Masih
It's not
banyak yang
knocked
AD
out
flex.
in this scenario.
Kalau yang AD flex yang ngehit soalnya reroll 2 udah pasti kalah. Udah kalau lu mau ke 1 emang harus main AD flex dan ngehit. Kalau nggak ngehit ya kalah sama reroll. Cuma kalau lu ngomong kuatan mana boardnya di late game udah pasti yang AD flex.
Which of course should be interesting for Almumu if he wants it, and thus far players are
Riven mana nggak kelihatan lagi. Masih hidup kayaknya. Iya. Duni Zuni itu. Masih ada aja Riven tuh.
And now he will easily go for another carry or simply complete the 5 of 7 pentakill to go for more strength. Kokaken still present with the Seraphim 3 trying to go for it, and now
Ilawi.
Ilaoi
Cenah.
already has a 2-star, so not the best here for 60 seconds. Going for this 4-bit line with the Caitlyn, actually very, very creative.
Ini dia
We
nyari
normally see it
apa?
with maybe 8-bit when the
Bang,
Caitlyn is
nyari
down here,
apa?
but actually 60
Bang.
seconds, I think he's the one
Bang,
who
nyari
shows more
apa?
creativity when playing this hardstyle line and the AD flex.
Yeah, I mean,
Ini nyari
it's
apa
fast,
sih?
right? That's something we're seeing with the hard steals a lot. Just try to
Recall 2 harus rajin bantai-bantai di stage 4. Recall 2 tuh harus cepet jadi sebelum stage 4. Syarat menangnya recall cost 2 tuh lu sebelum round 4 udah jadi atau enggak at least udah mulai stabil lah gitu. Tinggal kayak min 1 ya oke lah gitu. Cuma udah harus stabil sebelum round 4 kalau bisa baru menang. Kalau enggak susah. Tenang, aku pro player recall ini.
Degree has finally found some good items to
Masa
upgrade
susah
those
Riven
units.
3
And so when you
masih
have
bisa
the
kalah
opportunity
tau.
to get that 2-star Ezreal, perfect items and all of that good stuff, I think Degree
Yone
is
Edgelord
starting to
kurang.
sit in
Yone
a
kalau
little
lu
bit
mau
better
main
position.
Yone,
That lot of
Edgelordnya
HP
3
is
doang.
really
Sisanya
tight now.
crowd diver
So he's
kalau
gonna
lu
get
mau
knocked
main
out
Yone.
next.
Yone lebih butuh crowd divernya. Damage-nya dari situ. Susah juga ngehit AD flex lobby 4 orang lah ya emang gitu masanya. Meta paling kuatnya sekarang di AD flex begini. Semua orang pasti mau itu gitu loh. Makanya orang-orang pada main yang recall cost 2 kan biar nggak ikut berebut aja. Nyorik 2 udah GG nih. Ini nih contoh AD flex. Anjing menang goblok, dia tuh challenger. Dia tuh challenger tai, ini ngegendong sendiri.
I already gave you the game for the hangs in there, but Koka Ken
goblok
about this board, finding that Seraphine so early on, finding the Ari, finding the Alawi, but then
halo
not
Bang
being
David,
able to
halo.
transform that into a bigger front line.
Z semenjak yang update terakhir sih jadi pada gini semua.
Here is gonna get that 6th place.
Kira di TFT sekali nge-skill nggak bisa di cancel, Yone nggak butuh SPD. Iya cok. Yang penting mah Yone cuma ngedes doang, ngedes belakangnya doang. Makanya Edgelordnya 3 doang. Sama kayak Riven juga Edgelordnya 3 doang udah cukup. Damage-nya harus ada soalnya. Edgelord cuma buat bisa ngedes doang.
The champion delivery does come in.
Ini banyak banget deh spatula aneh nih.
Leveling up. So you are actually making 10 here. Not something we see often. Leading the lobby here with 36 HP and will continue to do so. Try to capitalize on that extra HP that he has.
Ezreal masih ngeselin aja ya. Ezreal ya gitu. Nah sebenarnya intinya dia yang sekarang di JS-nya.
As players like Bentham are just finding those legendaries on level 9.
Yeah, okay.
Udah habis Yuriknya? Kayaknya belum. Kayaknya belum. Baru 6 yang keluar, masih ada 3. Anjing Riven. Tuh liat Rivennya kalah cok. Lihat gak lo? Riven bintang 3 aja nyala, cuma kalah anjing. Kayak emang paling kuatnya tuh sekarang si Ezrealan ini anjing. Makanya orang-orang pada berebut ini. Nah kalau lo nggak pede berebut ini, biasanya kalau di turnamen jadinya lo main reroll yang cost 2. Coba begal-begalin mereka sebelum pada jadi begini nih. Mau main MF recall diambil AD flex semua, udah nggak akan dapet sih. MF fun tuh. Lihat ya, 68 bit, 3 Jazz, 3 Edgelord, 3 Pentakill udah nyala banyak gitu kan. Kalahnya tetap sama anjing ketemu Ezreal yang udah jadi. Nah, apalagi yang begini nih. Nah, hilang dah udah itu Riven Jo. Lu lihat gimana nih? Rivennya mati, kalah deh. Tuh. Kalah nge-cap boardnya. Gak mabar sama Edgelord Bang David. Agak. Ini gue nobar aja. Nobar works. Riven ditaruh di tengah salah. Ini mau ditaruh pinggir juga tetap susah deh. Itu dia udah kuat banget anjing. Bang aku rungkat Nusantara top round 1 top 3 lah ya, nggak tahu sih.
Yeah, not only that, HP lead,
Jago
but
dah.
also a level lead. He's level 10.
Nih kalau gua ikut turnamen nih, gambaran gua tuh di yang kiri bawah anjing.
And they don't have the money to
Gambaran gue yang main Kyle anjing.
leading here, but it is going
Fuck
to be
Ade Flake
a
anjing.
battle between El Mumu and the Greatest.
Fuck Ade Flake anjing, mending gua main yang lain deh.
To survive that, so somebody is going to get knocked out here.
Degree ended up
Even menang kalau
winning
ditaruh
against
luar
the
bak
Nobar, but this is the
goblok
real thing,
anjing.
and now you can see just how powerful that board truly can be. That Kale is untouched, and Degree is out. And that is going to be
Even butuh item support 3 biji biar jadi Ultraman. Nggak salah. 8-bit emblem cuy.
Additional 8-bit emblem, not getting the
Nggak ada yang doyan.
best moment already. The 8-bit in place and
Sisanya apa sih yang itu?
as a possible. Ryu going for the
Oh, Kylo lawan Ade Flex cuy.
with shields, and this will
Bajir.
be the damage he might need. From the other part, El Mumu going for a little more defense. He knows he already has the damage. He has the ramp up that he needs to win.
Gitu
Only
yang kanan
if the
ngiri
fight
banget ya.
prolongs as long
Lu
as
lihat
he
depannya
wants.
cowok jadi banget cowok
On the other
anjing.
side, the Jin also wants a
Right.
prolonged fight. So these both have the same archetype. Who wins it?
That's the big question, right? It looks like all signs are pointing towards Sijure, who has put together a very, very solid run and
Udah bintang
has
2
built
semua
out that
kosimanya. Iya
legendary
anjing.
board on the back of HP preservation. Moving through here, El Mumu trying his best to make the pentacle work in his
Duh,
favor.
stun lagi
But can
Kylo-nya.
this front line
Aduh,
ever be
nge-lag.
enough against that legendary soup
Anjing.
that we see on the side of Sijue, and that's a violent
Oh, jadi
in his
144p
favor.
itu.
But can this front line ever be enough against that legendary soup that we see on the side of Sijue, and as the violence pop
Tuh.
up here one by
Oh,
one,
main ada
I
flex.
think the answer
Dari
is
satu
right
lobby
here.
berempat.
He wins this one.
Yang menang
and the
satu
trophy
doang, anjing.
goes to Sijue.
Terlalu jadi anjing ini. Kuat banget gila.
Great lobby.
Gimana
Great
caranya
point
nih?
For him, China again with good points. Necra.
Kapan dia main Ade Flex begitu?
We did have a
Tahu.
great game. Yeah, Zero
Gue
is
sih
already
jauh-jauh
at
dah dari
good
Ade
point
Flex.
total as
Males
well,
anjing
sitting
konten
at,
satu
like, I
lobby.
think
Gue dari dulu gak
43,
suka.
45 points. So you're feeling really good about being able to add 8 and get that one step closer to that 60-point cutoff.
Yeah, and I mean,
Caranya
with
bintang
every
3
game
kos
now,
5.
we will be having more and more players who are out of contention, but also more and more players who need those really high finishes. And with only 2 more rounds to go today, it is bound to get really exciting.
Yeah, I thought we were going to see a little more hardstyle, but actually what is happening is that they are maintaining the possibility of hardstyling early, but actually going for the 2-star 3 cost. That is actually the high meta we've been having in this TFT Championship.
Udah gue tadi high roll.
It's gonna get so
Musuh gue
much
tadi high roll
higher
banget.
look
5
towards
Arsteel stage
our
3
final
dapetin
2
Titan,
games
dapet
of the day.
Ezreal
We're gonna take a short break.
Z2
We
cok.
are going to reset
Udah pasti
these
gitu
lobbies
cok.
when we come
Aduh
back.
hoki-hokian
It's
Ade
going to
Flex.
be game number 5 of day 2 of the TFT Remix Rumble World Championships.
Enak loh Ade Flex. Enggak doyan gua. Eko kulit putih goblok anjing Momon gak gitu konsepnya goblok anjing.
Come on, Hooper, but
On shop as well.
yeah.
He passes.
Oh,
It's looking out for him.
run.
Yeah, reward.
Kayak harus gua mute deh, gua takut anjing ntar kena copyright lagi.
Pretty clear.
Ini ada lagu-lagu kayak gini nih.
And the
Ntar tiba-tiba kena copyright anjing gak jelas cok. Serem gua. Udah tau copyright anjing. Ih. Ada flex nih rusak Ezreal, bukan Ezrealnya. Sebenarnya yang bikin kuat banget Jazz-nya. Yang bikin kuat banget main ginian tuh Jazz. Cuma kan kayak beberapa patch terakhir Z kan tadinya kayak ya udah gitu ada Z, ada unit kos 4 item-item namanya Jet anjing. Semenjak di buff itu bukan cuma sekedar Jet anjing, itu jadi preman bangsat. Ngeri anjing. Aja main disco di turnit tadi jadi top 2. Si Tonki juga main disco di turnit top 2 tuh tadi. Si Tonki top 2 main disco. Gue tusun. Gua tusun anjing, nabung ke 8 nge-roll down 80 gold. Mana TF, mana BC anjing kok nggak ada, goblok anjing. Tuh ke backline serem banget dia. Sebenarnya yang sekarang juga main disco ribet sama Z anjing, nyebelin. Kalau yang tadinya cuma Ezreal Apelios doang nggak masalah. Begitu jadi Z anjing, aduh gitu sakit kepala gua anjing. Copyright harus dia yang nuntut si One. Kemarin tuh apa aja yang kena copyright? Yang lagu Crab Rave aja kena copyright anjing gue cok. Gara-gara lagi gini-gininya dia muter lagu. Kena copyright anjing, makanya nggak bisa gue public. Juaranya di lobby. Top 2 nih. Lu juara 2, juara 8 no div cok. Sama-sama gak lolos anjing. Doesn't matter anjing. BC meledak di begal Z. Iya anjing. Tadinya kalau lawannya yang belum pakai versi Z-nya tuh, belum mainan Z udah di buff, masih gampang anjing main disco lawan Ezrealan. Aduh, front to back. Ini tiba-tiba ada Z anjing. Anak orang dislepet mati tuh. Disco udah dikontes sama Murdoch dari sana, nggak ada yang make TF sama BC. Gak jelas cowok anjing. Pecit anjing. Kan ada lagu-lagunya. Gua sekarang jadi parno udah mau nobar kayak gini. Lagunya nggak ada copyright ama enggak yang mana anjing. Apa biarin gini aja udah ya sampai mulai lagi daripada kena copyright. Z item wajibnya HWJ. Enggak, sebenarnya item paling wajib Z itu Eon. Age of Night itu item paling wajibnya Z. Sisanya bebas. Yang penting ada healing. Disco pakai Z Kiana GG kayaknya nggak muat anjing slotnya. Nggak muat cok slotnya cok. Di level 8 aja udah harus mikir ini gimana ya cara gue ke level 9 ya. Nggak muat cuy slotnya. Nah, kalau misalkan ini bisa, kalau lu punya yang kayak nambah slot unit ke level 9 gitu ya bisa dicoba gitu loh. Capek Nobar iya anjing. Karena lagu disco kopi kanan. Enggak disco doang, Cuk. Eon broken di Z. Eon. Iya emang Eon paling OP-nya, Cuk. Di shop udah dapat blink out masih tusun. Ya, lebihnya preman anjing. Jadi semua, Cuk. Itu di shop kayaknya udah pusing dah mau main apa ya katanya. Main ini tusun, main itu tusun katanya. Di shop tidak seneng. Tadi sih waktu gue Nusantara Cup gue nontonin POV-nya di shop kan, dia sambil streaming di Twitch kan. Marah-marah mulu anjing tiap kali. Tiap game ngoceh mulu anjing. Lucu anjing. Lolos ke babak selanjutnya ke apa? Bang Disco. Enggak, gue nggak lolos. Round 2 gue mentok, Cok. Judi ada flex. Gara-gara mau recall ketabrak. Judi dia ada flex nggak dapet ya udah tusun. Aku masuk kasino namanya Adeflex cuy. Tusun ini. Kena scam. Kelly juga. Seret John nontonin orang main TFT itu. Pasti aja ngomel anjing kalau nggak hit. Marah-marah. Si anjing lah kok dia punya itu anjing. Kok gua enggak kontol ya. Udah paling lucu aja liat orang main TFT marah-marah anjing. Lansa juara 1, round 1, round 2. Bagus dah. Ya bagus, Cok. Good. Gue game 1 placement gue kelima yang ada flex. Terus kalau kayak diambilnya top 4, mungkin di game 2-nya tuh round 2-nya gue masih mau serius gitu mainnya. Cuma kan dia ngambilnya cuma yang dua juara nih. Ya udah nothing tulus mainnya, cuma main disco aja udah anjing. Gue main TFT santai nggak kayak Wingrid padahal bisa stres juga. Stresnya nggak yang gara-gara orang lain seenggaknya, Cok. Stresnya gara-gara ya dari sistem ini. Gue main rank dari 159 LP ke 0 main AD flex nggak ngehit. Gue mah udah bodo amat LP, Cok. Makanya mainnya disco mulu anjing, udah bodo amat gue sama LP anjing. 0-0 dah. Please cepet-cepet set 11, gue udah muak main headliner anjing. Beneran based on RNG. Kalau lo mau lebih imbang sebenarnya turnamen itu gamenya harus banyak, jadi lu punya sampel size-nya banyak, diambil data terbaiknya gitu loh. Ini kan kayak Worlds yang ini gamenya banyak, diambilnya yang paling bagus-bagusnya. Jadi kayak kelihatan orang itu tuh dalam kondisi apapun emang jago gitu loh. Ngehit gak ngehit masih bisa stabil mainnya. Itu baru kalau 1 game 2 game doang aja. Minimal top 4 lagi diambil, kalau enggak anjing udah ada hoki doang itu. Yang nomor 1-nya degree gitu coy. Milala juga coy. Saya nggak masuk nih. Saya nggak masuk top global nih anjing. Aduh. Tapi yang degree itu poinnya gede banget deh, kayaknya udah pasti lolos deh. Mau nyoba PB set 11 nggak? Mau gua pasti nyobain PB set 11 nanti. Mending top 1. Ya cuma top 1 ini. Udah gua sih main udah nothing tulus. Tadi aja ya begitu round 1 lolos gua malah bingung anjing. Lah goblok main lagi jam 8 terus gua nobar gimana? Tolol anjing. PB harus install klien baru lagi, iya. PB harus install klien baru lagi kalau lo mau ini. Kapan keluar PB? Bentar lagi, deket-deket ini. Minggu-minggu inilah, gue nggak tahu tanggal tepatnya berapa. Minggu-minggu ini udah PBE. Dan gue nggak sabar mau main set 11 aja. Rank TFT gue yang set 10 udah LP 0 juga, DK gak ngaruh, Cok. Gue mau main set 11 aja, gak ada headliner. Iyuh anjing. Udah ada headliner tai, emang tuh tai tuh. Mau bikin nge-build apa, tiba-tiba lihat board orang lah, anjing dia punya headliner yang gue butuh, udah gak jadi main, Cok. Mending ke 8. Atau enggak capek-capek nabung level 8 ngerol, mana headliner yang gue butuh ya, kok nggak ada. Udah tusun udah, Cok. Najis anjing. Ngomong kudu tethering HP tapi HP-nya gue gantungin di tempat gantungan. Lah salah gantungannya, Cok. Headlinernya pindah ke augment. Kalau headlinernya pindah ke augment seru, Cok. Jadinya hero augment itu gue seru mainnya hero augment. Asik anjing. Katanya kom disco dibawa ke set 11 karena banyak yang suka, mana ada anjing. Kemarin gue mau serapin recall, tiba-tiba udah ada yang serapin 3. Ya gitu loh, Cok. Namanya ini set paling gue nggak suka anjing, gara-gara headliner. Ya seru sih jadi belajar gitu, cuma anjing lah headliner, Cok. Fuck headliner. Ih. Mendingan TF sepi gak ada yang ngambil. Kalau lu nyarinya TF nih ya, kayak tadi gue capek nabung level 8. Duit 80 gua nge-roll down. Nggak dapet anjing. Sumpah. TF sama BC yang sebiji doang pun nggak ada anjing. Gua nggak ngerti kenapa anjing. Padahal lobbynya main AD Flex loh, kontol anjing. Ya kalau Okman ada set push up seru sumpah. Ada set push up, ada ini kan Kasadin dulu, Kasadin tuyul anjing goblok banget tuh. Kasadinnya jadi pocong galaksi anjing, loncat jeder. Tolol anjing. Giliran main ada dikasih TF Dazzler BC Disco, ambil gak sih? Gas gak sih? Pivot kalau kata gue. Masih ada lagunya gak sih? Ada anjing. Ya buru mulai. Weh ada Egi coy. Ini ada anomali nih. Palanya kecil banget anjing, cuma set. Hai, palanya kecil bos, sisanya gelap anjing. Anomali ini anomali cok. Yang ini terang banget. Yang ini kayak ini cok. Kayak itulah ya, tahu lah ya.
Knock it home here. Two top fours very likely can get him there.
Yeah, we'll see if we can get some surprises coming from here. Again, remember, we are on the snake sitting. As Jedi saw, I mean, we saw the one man come through before.
Ron 11. Habis ini tinggal segame lagi, udah coba beres aja. Gue telat nontonnya. Jadi cuma 3 game doang. Set sebelumnya ada portal. Set sebelumnya ada. Baru dari set sebelumnya yang ada portal tuh.
The spatula start, and it was one of the players that you pointed out, Panda, that kind of needs that big result, going for a swing for the fences here with the spatula portal.
Very curious to see what Didor's game plan is, considering the confidence of standing onto that portal just by himself.
Kayak apa bang? Kayak itu.
Some early game mental damage to the rest
of
the
team.
I mean, he's certainly swinging. But as we were talking about before, the power level of the lobby will
suka
be
nih gue portal begini.
You can see, of course, before some of our players claiming that
now we see why he picked it. He wants to go for 5 Heartsteel in stage 2.
Yeah, I was about to ask you, David. I was about to say, hey, what spatulas, what emblems are we looking to craft early on in this game? But I know Jenzo just trying to find that belt, go for the Heartsteel emblem, trying to get that 5 Heartsteel online as fast as possible.
Yeah, Skipper's in this lobby, I'm sure, looking jealously on a start this damn good. Of course, we're keeping an eye out for any more players who do slam in early on. It's the one lobby who will just be playing for placement.
Tinggal putar lagu dia anjing.
They're the ones who've really got the biggest swing.
Oh, aku punya ini. Terus di slam itemnya 8-bit emblem. Aku punya ini.
To that day 3, there will be, of course, just a lot of results in terms of your confidence coming these
next games. Ini orang udah tinggal nyari sabuk doang ya.
That means he had a fairly good result in game 4, which is always going to be relevant in terms of your confidence and your mentality going to these last 2 games. Are you a favorite to do it? Do you have, the clutch that you need to have in a moment like this with so much at stake?
And I want to call out another player. So much at stake, right, Cheche? Looking at the side here, noticing that he also has a Cassante, very likely Heartsteel, and he's
risky move, bang.
8-bit on his board.
Gue dari kemarin kayaknya belum lihat ada yang ngambil risky move. 2 orang mau main reroll nih, udah team building. Silver Spoon mau main level deh tuh.
Silver, we've already got some interesting ones coming in, switching gears from Zero.
Switching gear? Kok ada yang main switching gear? Anjay. Switching gear bro. Bikin Bandung Open lagi dong bang, gua kemarin gak bisa ikut bulan depan. Gue punya mau ngadain nanti di sekitaran April. Sudah set baru aja. Set baru nanti gue ngadain lagi Bandung Open. Cuma sekarang sih belum. Gimana bang, lolos turninya? Lolos round 1 doang bro. 2 tusun aja.
And it's only keeping that option open for later on. Do notice as well, the duplicates have been picked up by Ugol and Eggy to try and go for a little bit of
yang dapat gitu disimpenin ikonnya jelek. Tapi itu mah kuat cok, lu lihat ah.
Another player looking towards that ribbon already has one on the board. That's going to be Mai, and playing around this quirky headliner, just trying to get the early stack. So it does feel like that line could be contested.
And Bandung Open sistemnya poin, cok.
2
different things with AFK, with probably a high
Tempat
chance
gua
of having
sistemnya
Pryo
poin,
on the
bro.
first carousel, maybe going for the Heartsteel emblem to really capitalize on that first Wraith playstyle, or maybe trying to angle towards 8-bit has it
Cuma
right
kalau
now on
lu
his
mau
board
main
with
yang
Baron and
poin-poin
Forky.
gitu
Could
juga
lean to
agak
the
ribet
Riven
buat gue
instead,
sebenarnya
as they
soalnya
stick it out of here
gantung
during
ini
the
kan
game.
Yeah,
apa
with Riven being potentially contested, I'm wondering if we instead see true damage because of how high Senna has actually been for that first place
gantung
rate as well.
anuan.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Jumlah peserta dan lain-lain ngaruh banyak kalau turnamen gue kemarin.
Element here managed to put together balls which just don't make any sense under other circumstances. KDA and the red buff slammed in early on. He's chosen his lane.
I'd say very much in his element. He played 3 games of KDA yesterday with the Ahri and the Akali, so I think he's going to be going down that tempo route.
AFK nggak bisa pasang item, bisa. Kalau lo punya AFK, lo tutup dulu si Oakman-nya, jangan dipilih dulu. Lo pindah-pindahin unit, pasang-pasang item, baru lo ambil AFK-nya. April bikin Bandung Asmara 2, Bandung Asmara goblok. Bandung Open ntar. April.
What else is in play? Of course, we mentioned before Cheche with the AFK. See how much damage he takes before he gets the cash.
Kayaknya nggak difilter sama panitia soalnya ada beberapa player server NA. Yang difilter tuh cuma ini akun lu kehubung sama email, lah udah lu lolos, udah filternya tuh gitu doang.
And similar for Cheche, who is just away from his keyboard for the start of the stage 2, not predicted to win many fights.
Gue demen bang lihat sungai di arena padang rumput. Tapi di mobile malah kepotong sungainya nggak kelihatan lagi, gak tahu cuy. Lagi unit paling kiri lu taruh ya cok, unit yang lu mau.
Of course, with our players playing a little bit weaker boards, perhaps it'll be a little bit harder to predict. Skipaeus, we're going to keep his.
Kencing dulu.
You see the Olaf is doing just Olaf things. Knocks down the bar and keeps the streak intact.
Looking to spat commitments, KDA for Skipaeus, we see for Eggy the Pentakill. ZUA already has the Heartsteel Emblem locked in and has both the set and the Cassante as well. Maybe hoping to find a Yone. He is going to be first pick here in the end. Cheche, despite the AFK, his third pick in the carousel will not have Pryo over signing something like the belt. And there's only a singular belt here for someone that wants to have that Heartsteel Emblem start.
Look at this, 5 of the spatulas not yet committed. So a lot of potential pickups here to try and pair with your spatula and start moving towards some direction even early on in this game.
Can't find it.
Doesn't quite get there. Yeah, now he's stuck just trying to grab another item to just go with he's got on his bench. Ends up grabbing that chain vest.
Oh boy, I'm really looking forward to seeing, as particularly mentioned, whether the 8-bit comes through and manifests most strongly. Mai, of course, will our player who's managed to find that early approach into that. ZUA, though, with the Moshers, remember, this is the ball that's trying to switch backwards and forwards between wins and losses. 3 goals.
Set baru kapan? Bulan depan? Enggak, pertengahan bulan ini.
Duplicator as well here for the US, so really looking at a
crazy late game. We saw already in game 4, maybe trying to nunggu ini aja cok. Emang hitungannya ini cek ombak. Dia juga nggak nyangka yang daftar ke 1000. Kalau kayak lu harus ngerti dari dua sisi lah, sisi panitianya sama sisi lu. Kalau kayak dari sisi lu kan pasti nggak terima, apaan sih ini turnamen gini. Cuma kan di satu sisi lagi si panitianya juga baru pertama kali gitu kan ngadain, dia bingung aja, dia kaget apaan ini 1000 yang daftar tuh, rame banget.
ZUA actually wants to lose this. Did not weaken their board, however, and still gonna have a very close fight. It's possible the Vi can actually still carry this through.
Season depan ada kemungkinan ganti PP lewat HP. Nggak tahu gue Egi. Nggak tahu aja. Kayak belum deh. Nggak tahu dah.
Ryue gets robbed of 3 gold. Not gonna be too happy.
Actually, really notable by
set tema depan musik Indonesia pale lu anjing. Set tema depan musik Indo. Bukan, Jok. Set tema depan mid and legend.
So maybe a little bit of a misstep there from ZUA by slamming it there instead of on the Gnar in that composition.
Xingtian right now, angling disco should and could just be the opener for now. Maybe a Lux rerolls if he's feeling very spicy, but we haven't seen that a single time yet on the world stage. That would be a treat, though.
That was the time. Cool. That was the time. Silver Spoon allows him access to those bigger comps earlier on, as we do notice.
Depan butuh custom lobby. Sebenarnya lu gak butuh custom lobby, coba buat turnamen TFT. Tinggal bikin normal ber-8, lu gak butuh custom lobby, coba sama aja sebenarnya. Doesn't matter anjing custom lobby.
Absolutely not. Yeah, on the other side though, Zue actually able to get some value here out of
Sa
the
depan
switching
Disco
gears, so
diganti
that's gonna be
dugem
solid for him
goblok
as well.
And Scapeus, as predicted, locks in that 5 win streak. A great start for a player that loves playing from ahead in the early game. He talked about on the top of show during the interview, slamming items, finding ways to preserve HP early.
Yep, so him and Qingtian will both keep their streaks intact. Mai and Ugol down at the bottom with their lost streaks, but overall a decent amount of gold in the lobby. It's spread between most of our players.
Mau main apa ini blue buff red buff tuh?
Bigger 3-1 roll downs, and I'm curious if players are going to continue to be greedy in this lobby and keep the tempo slow, or if we'll see players like Scapeus start hitting people too hard and we actually accelerate the tempo for everybody, because a lot of players are seeming to want to play very greedy in this game.
What kind of units are dropped from these orbs? Scapeus maybe trying to work around, as always, what the game gives him, trying to adapt around it. With a blue buff slam, we could maybe also see a Lugo.
Sebagai anak angkat Mordok, kok nggak tahu. Kalau gua anak angkat Mordok, gua lolos ronde 3 anjing. Nusantara tuh.
Wah, tap! A lot of gold to work with as well.
Nggak mau dia coy.
And now the 3 heart steal is online with Cassante, trying his best to hold the fort and maybe kill off some units in each of these losses.
Honestly, I think Cheche is stacked up way more 8-bit than I anticipated. It's still not a ton, but considering it was AFK, I just didn't expect there to be much there at all. He does have the bow open, so 8-bit is very available for Cheche, and the rest of his items actually can go in that direction, right? You have Tier and the glove to make Hodge. You have the ability to go for an Edge of Night, or you can still
Sistem
move those
headliner
around to
dipantenkan
create
atau
some
set
even better
besok
items
enggak?
for the
Set
rest.
besok enggak?
I would absolutely
Set
love
11
to see. The
kagak?
only problem is Mai has already got a couple of ribbons.
11 alhamdulillah tidak ada headliner jadi fuck headliner
tuh.
tuh.
Jelek kan? Imagine they could have expected that, given that we know how powerful 8-bit can be.
Gak demen gue main headliner.
I think having the plan B is always an option between Heartsteel and just playing for Riven. Reroll, I think at 3-5, that's a real deciding point. Especially with Cheche's gold lead, he can roll down.
Musiknya jadi nggak ada ya? Nggak ada. Musiknya dari arena doang udah.
I have more gold lead because of AFK. I'm going to try and roll for this instead. This augment could be really important as well. You want huge combat strength both for Heartsteel and Riven.
Set depan bakal turun banget ekspektasinya setinggi Remix Rumble.
Yeah, still considered as well.
Selama
yang
mainnya yang enjoy ya pasti main aja udah. Kalau lu mainnya enjoy ya udah main aja cok. Mainin di mana? Lu mau Mordoknya pernah bilang di streamnya, lu mau demen mainnya, lu mau main enggak ya udah nggak usah katanya nggak apa-apa. Besok reveal set 11 ya, besok reveal set 11.
Now right now playing around Misfortune, but it could be KDA, Jazz, and Big Shot all getting the value from this.
And I think because of the Misfortune headliner, it almost clearly indicates he's not going to be playing a reroll. I think it's enough tempo to just bypass level 6, bypass level 7. He was really where you struggle for losing too much HP. Go straight to 8 with that vertical KDA. Find maybe the Ahri, the Akali, the Ahri Warrior setup, and then play around that for a top. Which is all Scapeus really needs is at 59 points right now.
Well, let's take a look at our 2 Heartsteel players up against.
Sebenarnya nggak masalah kalau ikut yang ikut banyak. Yang jadi masalah kan cuma top 1 dong yang diambil aja. Kalau dia nggak ngambil top 1 dong masih nggak masalah turnamen. Yang jadi masalah tuh bukan banyak daftarnya tuh, sistem nyarinya cuma yang menang yang top 1 dong diambil lah, itu yang jadi masalah tuh. Set depan ada yang kayak Disco, nggak tahu gue. Nggak tahu itu.
He's trying to roll for it. I think he needs maybe all 16 points in the next 2 games, so maybe he needs to take that absolutely massive risk to try and find a guaranteed first tier. There's a lobby like this one where you think and you see players with the spatula starts, if they find a second spatula, they could also contest for a first with things like 10 KDA for Scapeus, who's playing a tempo game plan.
Imagine 1.200 16 orang cuma dengan 3 game ya cok. Maklum jadwal dah mepet mungkin. Ya gitulah. Intinya lihatlah turnamen kedua dia ngadainnya gimana. Kalau better ya better, kalau enggak ya udahlah. Jangan berharap banyak cuy.
The win streak finally broken for Scapeus. Look at the HP
difference. Kalau ada HL malah enak orang mau recall kill leveling standar nggak ada lagi fase 8. Nah iya, itu yang enak. Kayak lu bisa main ya udah fase lu sendiri gitu loh. Kalau nggak ada headliner tuh, lu tinggal main ya udah main fase lu sendiri. Lu nggak perlu anjing nanti dibegal orang headlinernya nggak dapet. Lu udah bodo amat anjing.
Also not slam their spatulas in. All are on the lowest HP in the lobby.
And Cheche just picked up a cloak, which is not something you usually do unless you're trying to angle for Riven. Cloak is usually seen as the least valuable component in most metas. That could be the case now. Idazor does cash out at the end. He thinks that it's really enough.
Enak tuh, nggak ada HL.
Cleaver here. Will that be strong enough with the early Zed pickup? He's level 7, 30 gold. Has the Ezreal as well here.
Ooh.
No belt for the Heartsteel emblem if that's what he was looking for, but wow, what a shot.
He's got it on.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Tiba-tiba jadi ningin.
So I think he's kind of staying away from it. He might play 5 Heartsteel, try and win with it, right? Because he's found some of these 4 costs he's really looking for.
Oh, wait a second, there we go.
On 7.
It's 7 Heartsteel
is what he wanted.
Oh,
all right,
goodness.
This is what we came here for. We want to see something off the chart.
Hello?
Jed, you saw quietly pleased with the turn he's just taken.
He might be able to itemize everything too, because Stimpack coming through and still getting more items from Heartsteel. He's going to be able to have a massively strong late game board. Really well done to play for first, but the question is can he be stable enough on stage 3 and stage 4 at this level 7 since he's rolled down so much?
And Vampirism as well. We're looking on the opposite side. Mai does have the 8-bit emblem slam, so committing to that Riven line with a Hull Crusher pickup.
Yeah, we can see the Aphelios will take a little bit of a bite out, but not enough. Mai starting to drop down into pretty dangerous territory, 36 HP. While Cheche's in a similar spot, it may still not be enough.
Jagoan lu di turni waktu ini siapa Bang? Gue sih biasa nontonin Disop kalau mau belajar TFT saat ini. Pengen lihat Disop masuk final aja. 70 gold nyari level 6 nyari biasanya paling cuma gue main EDM gak dapet. Emang gitu cok. Saya juga gacha nih.
Didn't find it in the end, finds a ZZ Rod, so we'll see if that affects really the outcome of this Riven board and if he's able to cook it up, because doesn't really have Riven items right now, has just that open.
Lu udah tahu nih book nggak bakal jual ke 1 kalau di situ poin kan bisa prepare untuk next sim lah ya. Iya. Kalau lu nggak, ya gitulah sistem, ya sistemnya begitu cok. Mereka yang bikin ya bebas dah. Nunggu next turnamen aja. Kalau gue udah, ya udah mau gimana? Udah turnamen udah jalan sekarang. Lu mau komplain juga nggak ngaruh aja. Udah jalan turnamennya cok. Nunggu next turnamen aja udah. Kalau headliner berarti mainnya vertikal aja atau gimana bang? Lupa sejak main TFT padahal sempat main auto better. Kalau nggak ada headliner ya, lu bisa main vertikal, lu bisa mainnya campur-campur. Biasanya ya vertikal tergantung dapetnya apa juga. Ya gitulah. Main biasa nggak ada headliner doang.
And I believe I saw Cheche did have 2 1-star Rivens on his board at one point, so I think that's the natural one headliner still available. This race is going to be very close. Mai has a
oh iya, requestanku beres ya, ada 7 Heartsteel ya.
40 more gold and Cheche has not already hit. He's going to be in big trouble. We'll see the roll down coming through. The Yone has been picked up right now. The side roll down.
Main TFT kayak catur asli nggak bisa pakai kopi-kopian. Alias pakai cara sendiri, mikir sendiri, ngatur sendiri ya cok.
There's the Caitlyn.
Caitlyn, big hit.
Potentially hit 6.
Ionia saya no pivot. Pegangan 78 nanti cok.
Early allow is big, but not exactly what he needs.
Lebih kerasa TFT-nya kalau ada HL sih bang, bener-bener jadi beda sama game lain. Enggak, gue gak demen. Enggak suka. Skip. Jelek, headliner jelek anjing. Headliner jelek anjing. Enggak mau anjing.
Probably hurt the chances quite a bit. Cheche did actually find the headliner. Cheche actually on 6 Rivens, and even though he is flat broke, it's reduced the amount that Mai can actually try and find. There's a lot of people in the pool already.
Ripen. Haha, ini lobbyku. Haha, Ripen berebut. Haha. Tusun nih 78 nih Ripen berdua, Cok.
Ticking away as our players build up extra power. The last one coming in, it will be gold.
I wonder if Mai potentially pivots his game plan into a Caitlyn carry board instead.
Gacha treasure realm kira-kira habis duit berapa? Kalau dari 0 banget dan lu nggak hoki, lu dapatnya PT sekitaran 2 juta. Kalau lu mau gacha.
the Argentinian player.
Kayak kita ngambilnya worst case skenario, lu gacha nggak dapetnya jelek semua dari 0 PT-nya lu belum pernah gacha, nah 2 juta.
As high of a cap as possible. As we see, Egi actually finds metalheads to go alongside with this Kale board.
That's going to be absolutely huge. Of course, we noted before, we've got the items in place. You noted, of course, super fan.
Kanan bawah Ripen, kiri tengah Ripen. Nah udahlah, 78 Ripen. Selamat bro, selamat. Kalian 78 main Ripen. Good luck anjing.
300 hearts have been stacked up. 7 hearts still online. Items on the Zed. All the items on the Ezreal as well as you mentioned.
Kungkat ngajak-ngajak tuh 2 player Riven dia, Cok. Udahlah kita kalah bareng ya. Oke.
Look at Chingtan with a Caitlyn already.
Ini nih ngeri ini 7 HS, Cok.
Win or loss, I think it's a good result regardless for Jedusor considering his health.
Yeah, and I mean, it's the Akali, right? That's the big problem at this point. Chingchan on 4-2, able to go to 8, find a 4 cost.
Race go stick! Enggak dong, bercanda bang, jangan bang. Bang, jangan bang. Ingat darah bang, kesat di lobby loh ini. Kesat bang, udah bang, nah sip.
So much gold.
That's a lot of money and a champion duplicator. Gonna cash in that money straight away to move up levels and try and find something big to swing this one around.
Oh,
can find one more Kiana, just to count it 2 out of nowhere can be nice. There's the Ezreal with the big shot as a
halo,
for backline.
Enak ya anjing.
That's what he needs to find at this point on this roll down. He found a single Poppy, but Zac 2, Alawi, these are the things that need to be found for Jedusor to actually stabilize the spot.
Yone upgrade just barely coming in there. Has to slam these items, especially the Crown Guard, which needs to be in before the fight begins. There it is. Set items onto the Ezreal. Can this do enough here around this stage 4? We're at 10 gold, only level 8 for Jedusor to claw back up in the HP standings.
He's up against Skipeus here, the other Mia player, who's put together a fascinating looking board here. The KDA Ezreal.
Ezreal KDA, coy!
Yeah, there's an argument here as well with this duplicator to potentially use it on a 4 cost for
MCHL hokinya sepis tisu, tai. Menang kalah, kamu takut kalah turnamen yang diambil top 1. Takut nggak hoki, skill isu anjing edan bro. Persetan headline anjingnya.
For Skipeus, we saw how easily he adapts. He finds an Ezreal headliner and says, "Yep, good enough." To hold this KDA emblem, like allows.
Udah bener rilis kemarin harusnya set 9 bukan 10, banyak yang FOMO nggak ada HL itu. Oh anjing HL gue gak suka banget najis tuh anjing. Ini pencet-pencet iya lebih enjoyable buat gue yang mainnya emang bukan kompetitif. Oh yaudah mau mainnya ini nyobain gitu. Kalau gak ada headliner tuh enak anjing nggak pusing.
Yeah, looking at Iggy, here's the roll down trying to find this Kale finally. Ends up getting one more copy. There's the last one. 2 rolls, find both. Has the duplicator to get it done. And also pick up
Iggy
along the
udah
way.
jadi.
The best possible thing
7 penta, halo. OTW 10.
Though, considering that we are level 7, it's going to be very rare to hit the actual upgrade on level 7 or 8. So it'll be gold you're holding on your bench for a very long time. And we don't see a carousel until the next one at stage 5.
KDA Ezreal halo.
They've been impressing us so far this competition up against Skipeus' board made of dreams. Doesn't unfortunately have the Ezreal turn to the right target quite quick enough, but it does punch through.
That's the difference of not having Gunblade, right? Gunblade would have made it so Kale would be full health. That one cast from Ezreal would not get it done. And I think that still
males dengan HL.
Get there, right? Still using the super
Lu ngehit lu win ya.
Cash out here for ZUE who needs something big. A tome is not going to be big enough.
Hai 10.
HP. He was first place in
still 10 bang.
First place again with last rocking soon. And potentially putting him back
masuk YouTube anjay.
Also took a loss. If Mai gets defeated here in the next few rounds, this opens up those ribbons for Cheche to maybe find a few wins himself.
It doesn't feel like this, go back to ZUE here. It doesn't feel like there's enough time for another.
Hai 10 bang, YouTube anjing YouTube
Well, I think with the
move,
now, you still get win streak cash outs to try and finish finding extra components as he goes up against Cheche. This could just be Cheche's last life. He actually only has the 2-star Riven fighting up against the Zed. Immediately, though, they go onto each other and Riven comes out on top.
Yes, he's able to dance through the backline and accesses the carries.
Coba main rank biasa terus main Galaxy rasanya hambar. Galaxy mah beda lah. Galaxy mode for fun unit pool 50 anjing. Ngarep apa lu dari Galaxy anjing? Galaxy lu ngarep apa anjing, itu mode for fun dai.
Yeah, if he can find enough gold to get there, 2 copies. We saw 2 rolls, 2 kills for Egi earlier. Maybe Cheche can find
Auto battler game gacha HL di TFT jadi makin gacha. Farmater nih gacha segera sama siapa ditambah wildcat gacha, goblok ini. Real game gacha tuh.
Zeke's is also massive, and he's been stacking up this 8-bit pretty much the entire game.
That being said, he needs to hit everything. The Viego 2, the Caitlyn 2, and the Riven 3 ideally in just 20 gold. It's going to be very difficult. We'll see what he can do.
Oh, the gold's already pretty much run out, and it does not look like
Viego.
Okay, that's something.
Pego 2, ini Caitlyn 2.
Alright, it's not a 3-star Riven, but it will have to do.
Riven mana ya?
Goal and Scapeus in his matchup pool. We've seen how strong Scapeus is. Going to be difficult here. The Giant Slayer onto the Viego.
Riven mana ya?
On that 6 streak as well. Going to be probably the one you want to dodge.
Mau menang bang, bukan mau bikin konten. Lah Arsenal 10 menang, Cok.
Looking to hold on and try and get himself through this point.
Kalau Arsenal 10 menang, Cok.
To have any chance of making day number 3, fighting over the right-hand side of the screen. TUA over the left-hand side, of course. With the last stand kicked in, this could be huge for the final standings of the lobby.
Ini nggak ada yang last stand gitu.
Choose through the Ahri. Now she has the Poppy.
Ada last stand gitu, bro.
Very tanky. The KDA emblem giving her so much
Capek-capek last stand gitu.
Capek-capek
last stand, lo jeder.
Oh, the Caitlyn's gonna be taken down. And Cheche's dreams, Argentina's dreams, Isuru's Gaming's dreams, unfortunately end here in this game number 5.
GUA dropping as well. You said at 51
pegangan tangan tuh Riven 78
to make it there. The 7th is going to make it incredibly difficult for that final game for ZUA.
Not impossible.
Not impossible.
53 points definitely still puts him in contention.
And also it opens up a lot more space for other people to potentially leapfrog and grab hold of those 8 spaces where otherwise it may have previously been out of reach.
Window moment masih level 7 ya, orang mainnya berdua berebut anjing.
Big shot in place because the Ezreal up and itemize. We'll see if it's good enough to take down Scapeus' board.
Orang berebut
got all his damage stacked on the left side, but the Poppy is there to meet it. Going to be very difficult to shoot through that initially. The Zed is still getting through. On the other side, it's just the Seraphine too, so the damage is a bit low for the side of Scapeus. His front line being the big carry in these fights, but can't get through the rest of the backline of Genesaur. He has really put together an incredibly powerful board, and it is scaled into the late game with that vampirism.
And all of a sudden,
parah bang, tadi ada Nusantara Master sendiri selobby, sisanya DM sampai gold. Lah itu mah gua dong. Parah Cok, gua dikatain Cok. Itu gua Cok, anjing parah Cok. Emang nggak boleh. Scapeus ini
concerns Cass here about the damage on the board. We got a split items between our 2 carries. And yeah, the Ahri not up to 2-star either. It feels like Poppy's being asked to pull a lot of weight in this comp.
I mean, the damage is an issue, but Scapeus has held on to so much HP. He might be able to still squeeze into the top 4 regardless, but he is
anomali tuh kiri atas. Gak kelihatan apa-apa cuy.
We're starting to understand why the Ahris cannot be found. 3 on the side if you go, a Senna 3 as well. The Echo, the Poppy taken down, the face-off between the Ahri and the Senna and the Ahri. In the end, it should be a big win for the damage player who's on an 8-win streak right now, dominating this stage 4 and 5.
Yeah, you got looking real good here.
Aku 2 kali berturut-turut ketemu 9 TD 10 KD lagi gimana tuh?
KDA Emblem.
KDA Emblem will be a big push for
KDA Emblem nggak tuh?
In play as well.
Diamanin nih. Iya, di-deny. Enak aja lu ya, mau 10 KDA katanya.
It hurts a bit, but he bought himself a buffer with the stim pack, with the Heartsteel being on so long. He's got a lot of extra items. He has the ability to deny that, and as you said, he kind of has to. Because this
ini jadi drama nih nanti, anjing lah ini tukang pegang Cok, anjing.
Bully him out of the game.
The rest of the players in the lobby. We've got a real sandwich developing here between Ugol and Jed. You saw the 2 win streaks at the bottom. As Scapeus will find something finally to come through and give a little bit more power.
Gue sih udah bilang kalau ini.
It looks like he was deciding if he actually wanted that KDA Akali or not, because of the fact that he didn't get the second emblem. There's consideration that
si Kuro mau ini
going 10 KDA,
masuk Discord, masuk aja Nobar.
Now the big test for Yetitor, the two big win streakers facing off in what could be the most important fight of the tournament for the French player. The 6th win streak, the Ezreal, the Zed, trying to chew through the left, the right side of the board. The Ezreal cast comes through. The front line
ini bat big shot coy.
The Zed is too powerful. The edge of the aggro drop, the big win for Getizor, who needs it. He's at 20 HP, 2 losses, and he'd be out.
Able to take down the Ghost. I'm interested to see the real fight. It wasn't that close, so I feel like Getizor's actually got a very good chance into this setup board, but it does remain to be seen as Eggy now has fallen quite low, not able to find this Mordekaiser 3.
Dapat tuh sama orang-orang main Kyler.
Rage blade at the back there for a lot of late round power, but I do agree. I don't think the front line is there quite enough to let it to scale to full potential.
And you also just need the Gunblade. If your front line is already going to be a little weaker because there's not 3-star, you need that healing even more if you're going to stay alive. And Ginsu, triple Ginsu, I mean, that scales, but if you don't have a front line, how are you even going to scale?
That's when you're down in combat augment with the team building that came through, and you can't even find Mordekaiser still at 2-star right now. The other Pentakill player in this lobby, the Ahri Pentakill, which we don't see very often. The Viego jumping in, buying some time, doing some damage with the Kayle, still ramping up, and the don't have enough damage to actually kill her off.
Big win for Eggy, able to hold on a little bit longer as we see Scapeus is just fighting up against Eggy's.
Kalau TFT ganti set lagunya beda lagi. Nggak ada lagu set depan. Set ini dong yang ada lagu-laguan. Set depan nggak ada lagu-laguan coy.
To this unit, and it just makes her do more damage, heal more. She just does everything for her. Actually, KDA Poppy, the more I think about it, more like this
is my new main. This is the best KDA holder in the game.
Oh, for sure, absolutely.
In the 4-cost race, especially in terms of stabilizing your stage 4 and 5 and allowing to go 9 to chase that 10 KDA. But the RE2 is still missing, which is the big one. We have the big upgrade for Eggy. Maybe the not one he wanted, but one that he definitely needs, the Yorick 2.
Halo Eggy dengan Yorick 2, halo.
Oh boy, we're certainly coming down to the end of the line here. Pro players, again, this is the penultimate game of the group stage. We're trying to find out who gets into the top 8. Tooth and Claw trying to fight their way back up, especially for players like Jenny saw in this lobby. They need that first place finish. They need every point they can grab.
Ini pusing nih yang main KDA nih.
I'm curious if Getizor actually played the real version this time.
Sera 3.
Scapeus
Artinya 1 anjing kasihan tadi.
It looked like Eggy's clone, so it's going to be very, very tough.
Akhirnya dihabisin yang main Kyler anjing.
If there was a big enough upgrade.
Double duplicate onto the Seraphine, but actually the last Seraphine.
Oh enggak deh, yang main Ahri itu yang Sena sama yang ini ya Pentakill ya. Sisanya habis aja. Malasnya itu jadi banget ada flag tuh. Anjing. Lulusan 7 hari still di bos.
Trying to help buy time for the triple Rage Blade Kayle. You can't scale more than this Kayle, but the Zed is half health.
Aduh, jetnya Eon tuh lihat tuh.
The Kayle out DPS the Zed, she cannot. Nah, but Yorick cleans up, baby.
Yeah, absolutely, the secondary stepping in and making a mess out of everything. Incredibly hard to put down. As you go, we'll take the L there against the newly upgraded Scapeus board. Cass, we were looking to see where that Giant Slayer would end up going. It went onto the Seraphine.
Yeah, Seraphine, you've got the 3-star. Makes sense to me. Jingchen with the very creative board as well, playing that Pentakill Ahri, but it seems like it has kind of lost its luster as we've gotten late in the game. 6 loss streak. Jingchen really trying to hold on at this point, but 38 points anyway. Just trying to play for pride and some extra play.
Good news for EMEA. Getizor still on a win streak, 9 win streak, and for Scapeus, a 3 win streak coming into the middle part of this stage 6.
Yeah, definitely when it comes to the next game or last game, especially we'll have more players secure in a spot. Scapeus is about as close as you can get without being fully across the line. You can see the power of the board has been put in place to bring it all together right now. Taking out Qingtian would be absolutely massive, but the Karthus is getting a lot to scale up for the fight.
Yeah, that Ghoul's actually almost going to take down the Seraphine, and it sets up for the Karthus defending the job, and now it's just down to the
Poppy menang nih.
1v9,
Poppy?
one-woman army, but she can't get it done against the rest of this board. Scapeus is going to lose, breaks his streak,
yang nahan Kyler gue pas gue main.
Eggy with a 5th here puts himself in the same exact spot as Jiwei, 53 points coming into the last game, trying to fight for the pride of SEA as their last hero left alive in contention for that top 8.
It's been hugely contested at the top of the table. We don't know for certain what that cutoff's going to be yet, with everyone so closely adhering. But down to our final selection here.
Itu yang kiri atas ngebug Seraphine-nya. Kok di depan anjing?
I'm so impressed he's kept going for this long.
Not just that, but he has 63 gold right now. He's waiting for the level 10 spike because he knows he has 2 lives still at 20 HP. I love this risky play. He knows he needs a big win.
Yeah, Jedusor just trying to stay alive throughout this as we see this fight not even close. Wow. True damage, nuking pentakill, not even close at all.
You were praising before the true damage.
Egi kalah, coy.
Just ripped through that ball like it wasn't
Egi kalah, cok.
Is this the win for Jedusor? It's the big question. If it is, that buys him time to go 10 while still being on 2 lives, and that's going to be the case. A massive carousel round coming up here. A spatula on the Alawi, a Kiana with a cloak, but not all items built.
Deflex.
Yeah, does not have the ability to play around the spatula and actually get that KDA online. Can't even find the levels for it. Jedusor just going to grab a flexible item there. Be able to play it either front line or back. Really, we got to watch Jedusor, right? He needs this first. Puts him in a position where qualifying for top 8 is very realistic. Just needs a second high placement after that, being at 45 points. That first place pushes him to 53, and 60 is our approximate strike.
The goal is mathematically out. Scapeus is mathematically in. It's all about Jedusor trying to claw his way into that first place position with an incredibly capped board, an 11 win streak, level 10. Pretty much all relevant legendaries in the game are on his board, but they're not upgraded yet. He needs to find the Yorick 2, the Jin 2, the Ziggs 2 especially, if he wants to guarantee this win.
Yugol may be able to play some spoiler here. Goes up against Scapeus. Of course, if you get the win here, knocks Scapeus down and out. It would free up the space for Jedusor to get one step closer to that big win. That Poppy right in the center absorbing a ton of damage. But the Ari is just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, when you're anchored on a single frontliner, true damage just eats you alive. It doesn't care about the resistances you've stacked up on this Poppy. Usually HP is a good way to try and deal with it, but no, this Ari does just far too much damage. And now Yugol is the only one who stands in the way of Jedusor finding that first and getting as close as possible to that juicy.
Pindah nggak sih Jess headline loh? Nah, anjay 4 Jess.
Their combat strength was evident when it comes to that.
Itemnya kumaha teuing.
Upgraded into the Ari damage, into the Akali as well. That 3-prong attack with Kiana. Farming components throughout these last 2 stages. Jedusor, we saw it. He raised the stakes. He risked it all for the biggest reward.
Itemnya gimana anjing?
Oh boy, the headliner Lucian in place there as well. This board has been growing stronger and stronger over time. We'll see if the Lucian's be able to keep himself out of trouble. We have got the Jin over in the other corner as well. The crossfire should be able to cut through a lot of the central board.
Yeah, Zed getting stuck on the Echo pretty much the entire fight, not actually able to get anything done. But now the Crowd Diver stun onto the Senna is going to slow down the damage. It's going to leave time for Jin to try and win this. Zig's going to tank up the hit. Jin gets to go all the way. The body block from Ziggs protecting his
teammate. Stepped up, literally, when it mattered most, because that made it so that the AoE damage from Senna would not kill both the Jin and the Ziggs if it landed. Crucial fight there, and I think this is where Senna starts to suffer, when there are so many different targets you have to chew through one by one, and so many different clumps across the entirety of the board. She cannot melt everything as quickly as we've seen earlier in Stage 4.
I don't think I've ever seen higher value out of a Crowd Diver jump and stopping that Senna in her tracks while the backline stayed alive and was able to push forward there. Massive for the side of Jedusor.
Last bit of gold here is going to be relevant for that Jin to upgrade to one of the bigger damage dealers on the board here for Jedusor. 13 win streak, finds the Yorick here as well, but it's all going to be about this Jin.
Oh boy, we've got the item to come in for the 3rd item available.
Jinnya dapat.
Alright.
Jinnya dapat
item, you don't have mana generation, unfortunately. You do have the adaptive helmet at the very least. Going to go on the Lucian headliner instead.
Blue buff being switched.
I love it.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Still playing around 2 very heavily itemized carries. They're completely split. Senna never going to be able to hit them both.
We were pointing out before, the front line isn't fantastic, but the back line is unbelievable. The crossfire will start again. Hopefully this time Ziggs knows exactly where to stand to get in the way of the big shots. Keep your eyes on when that Senna damage is coming.
Zed!
As Zed gets into the back line.
There's the Edge of Night. It popped. He takes down the Ari, and now he's on the Senna. He did it! Able to find his first place and set him up for success.
Udah ngehit semua anjing. Kapannya?
Jedusor, the comeback potential is real.
He took a big risk, but I think he knew exactly what he was doing at every moment of the game. Let's remember the denial on the KDA side on Scapeus. He was looking through every single possible outcome and where he would end up losing. He looked at all the timelines and found the one where he's now in contention for a top 8 spot despite a slow start to this day 2.
Yeah, it was perfect. I
Kapan
love
ya
the
7
early
hard
wave.
steal udahnya ngehit anjing. Pakai 7 HS anjing. 7 HS. Gue yang 7 HS itu nggak ngehit tuh, boardnya nggak begitu anjing. Gue yang 7 HS boardnya nggak begitu. Ngecit tuh orang bisa gitu tuh. Kemarin recall yang menang hari ini ada flex. Macam-macam yang menang. Emang ada flex kalau ngehit parah banget kayak yang barusan ya udah pasti menang punya. Ada flex tuh kalau misalkan udah jadi kayak tadi ini udah bintang 2 bintang 2 bintang 2 bintang 2 ya udah menang. Kelebihannya main reroll cuma sebelum yang bintang 2 itu jadi ya lu gagal duluan sebelum dia jadi udah. So kalau ada yang survive nih, ada yang hard stealnya survive ya udah dia menang. Lah kabang enggak ini ada segame lagi. Main 7 HS belum gesot dari lobby anjing. Mana banyak lagi kan yang kontes. Tadi tuh kon 11. Ini habis ini nih nunggu ngoceh-ngoceh nih. Ada lagunya nih. Lo gak ada? Dia iklan cok. Udahlah mute aja lah ya. First or 8 berarti ya. Ya lu main TFT sekarang tuh intinya lu pilih aja lu mau gacha di level 8 atau mau gacha di level 6. Udah. Yang jadi duluan menang, Cuk. Pilihannya kan cuma 2. AS7 imba banget mana dia sempat win dulu. AS7 lu win streak setara lu streak harta emang. Jadi usah pakai jimat ngelus-ngelus alis goblok ini. Kalau gua sekarang lebih suka gacanya di level 6 aja. Di 8 pusing ya. Kalau 6 unit yang lo kontes tuh mentok di kos 3-nya, kos 3, kos 2. Dimana poolnya masih banyak, chance lo ngehit masih banyak. Kalau di 8 ya gitu. Kalau di 8 ya gitu. Game pertama di shop sih tadi yang gue tontonin lucu banget. Apa seorang di shop main AD Flex lah kalah aja. Oh. Kon satu lu main Kyler Recall menang gimana cerita? Lah tinggal pencet D aja. Tinggal pencet D. Kan gue bawa shopping spree, gue main Kyler. Kylernya udah bintang 3-nya cepet ya udah naik level. Naik level pakai roll gratis, naik level pakai roll gratis, naik level pakai roll gratis. Menang. Level 10 Kyler gua, Cok, easy. Tinggal pencet D. Pikir poison kalau kata orang bijak iya nih. Gue sih mending di 6 dah. Gak usah ke 1 gak apa-apa dah, gue udah seneng, Cok. Sengaja gak tusun anjing. Yang kocak ini sih. Orang-orang capek-capek scream latihan Nusantara Cup anjay. Main segame doang. Scream anjing. Latihan prepare Nusantara Cup anjay. Main diambil top 1 doang. Mulu kedua sama aja kayak 8 nih, gak ada bedanya anjing. Capek-capek kan mempelajari, oh ini nih biar gue placementnya bisa seenggaknya top 4 lolos gitu kan. Enggak sih. Yang menangnya ke 1 doang udah. Capek-capek nge-scream anjing. Lucu banget aja. Gue ada chat sambil nunggu ini deh. Sambil nunggu dia ngoceh-ngoceh berlagu yang bisa kena copyright anjing. Oh, last game ya. Last game. Mesti ngapain ya? Mending top 8 daripada top 2, setidaknya tidak berharap akan lolos. Iya, Cok. Ternyata modalnya bukan latihan tapi ikhlas. Iya anjing. Witcher jadi Eko. Bodoh. Mendingan Bandung 1 pakai diskon juara dapat duit, goblok anjing. Kapan kamu pakai makeup, bodoh anjing. Tepit gue duluan. Oke. Dadah. Akali emblem pang gak ngetrol kan, Bang? Ya, gitulah anjing. Gitu ya. Gua final yang offline-nya tuh kapan sih? Nusantara, Jakarta lagi ya. Gue pengen cabut datang ke sana, kagak ada duit. Pengen sih gue cabut, kayak bisa sekalian ngobrol sama orang kayaknya kan, temu langsung, cuma anjing Cok, wah duit anjing. Tanggal berapa sih itu final Nusantara Cup anjing? Maret. Belakangan Bang kalau berangkat gue juga dari Bandung. Ayo dah kalau mau bareng, cuma masalahnya gue masih mikir ngumpulin dananya gimana dulu anjing, gue gak ada duit Cok anjing. Pengen sih gue cabut, duitnya kagak ada Cok. Pengen gue pergi gak ada duit anjing. Saweria anjing gak ada duit, Cok. Crowdfunding, tinggal WTS akun Wingrip. Jangan anjing, Wingrip gue nyambung ke akun mana-mana, Cok. Ada kami sama isi cash, nggak mau gue skip pinjol, Cok. Minjemnya berapa kan? Balik ini lebih mahal lagi, skip anjing. Buat nyecos, Cok. Bang, aku net main Riven di 3/3 dikasih Riven 8 bit. Ya bagus. Ya bagus. Terus nantinya min 1 di late game-nya, Cuk. Lah. Milala masih lolos. Duni taruh. Anjoy. Ya kayak gini, Bro. Di green nih stabil nih gue liat-liat nih. Udah pasti lolos kayaknya. Gue lagi balas chat orang. Wah, oh iya lupa maaf.
Alright, we'll see.
Lupa, maaf. Ambek. Abis balas chat. Bang udah beli sampo. Udah, Nat, udah.
Actually a Olaf as well that he's going to be playing around. So that is, looking to stabilize that.
Nggak bersuara. Iya, udah, maaf. Lagi bahas yang penting anjing. Demi masa depan turnamen kita, bro.
I'm really looking forward to Jeduzor's game plan with Heartsteel, especially because of the raise the stakes implications. Everyone knows Jeduzor wants to raise the stakes and wants to play for first. Two players especially are going to try and stop him from doing that. It's too risky. Will someone just directly open the door the moment they see Jeduzor going for that raise the stakes moment?
I just think the concept of too risky just can't exist for Jeduzor anymore at this point. As we said coming in, you need the big finish here. Nothing but
clear mind.
edge.
He is not stressed at all. The feelings are smooth. He's flowing. His mind is clear. He's trying to go for that run it back.
He's expressing himself through his augment choice. You can see on his camera there, Tiny on the right-hand side of the screen, the concentration on his face, knowing this is the moment he could go to the top 8 or just miss out.
Yeah, and I want to talk about Agi being able to pick up salvage bin. So we're kind of looking at opposite styles here. Agi going to look to really push the tempo, slam all of his items, especially with this Urgot early. This is going to be a really strong board to find that win streak in Stage 2 and Stage 3.
And with salvage bin, quick reminder, if you're looking for a win, which is what Agi needs, there's a high cap to this augment because you can break down emblems in the late game like we saw Dish Soap doing in day number 1 to try and find those verticals, the 9 true damage, the pentakill, the 10 KDA we saw chase so many times today.
And of course, in this lobby, we will not have any real help from the portals outside of the early plays, these early Argots, this early power. Later on, finding that kind of portal power would be absolutely fantastic.
Tapi anjing gak ada Kurot.
Normally,
Kurot mana sih?
Would be the answer to all your problems.
Kayaknya kagak bakal Nobar deh.
Perhaps too big.
Kurot tadi sempat stream gak sih, guys?
On level 3 and he still find the win. That's just how strong Urgot actually is.
Tes. Buset gak ada. Tadi gue diem, Cok. Gue balas chat. Sekarang gue yang dikacangin sama viewernya, Cok. Tolong.
Usual augments too big to fail from your goal from Korea.
Guys, jangan kacangin gue, guys. Maaf tadi gue kacangin kalian, guys. Halo. Tes. Ngebak kah ini chatnya, Cah? Gak ada yang jawab, Cok, anjing. Sombong, Cok.
Usually you just use this to win streak a lot in the early game. I'd actually be very interested if you go tries to continue to play this throughout the game because most of the time in NA, it was just used as a 2-1 augment to win streak on Stage 2 and 3.
Very interesting. We'll see. I mean, I know at the very middle part of the set where it really gained popularity, players were just playing for that 6 bruiser out, trying to fit in things like a TF disco sometimes, even just have a backline carry. But as you mentioned, it has changed a bit near the later start of the set. I think everything's been a bit more optimized. For Jeduzor, talking about optimizations, using those punk rolls with clear mind to try and have that mid-max of having some board strength while trying to level up.
See on the other side though, ZUA, the board strength is overwhelmingly strong with that buried treasure, getting a little bit more punch behind that early board. Certainly doesn't seem to be taking the more passive approach to looking for that first place.
Trying to find Heartsteel here as well. That's the big one for the Punk. And find a very early Riven Caitlyn package.
Gee.
Does this maybe sway you in a different direction?
Yeah, the items are actually pretty solid for this as well. It's pretty reasonable to try and go for Riven from here, especially because with it being Riven Caitlyn, you actually will effectively stack 8-bit in the early stages of the game.
You have to sell all your bench here with Clear Mind though, which makes you have to sell both the pair of Pantheons and the pair of Vines. I like this, adding in the Vines that to get the 1 extra gold over having the Pantheon in for Punk.
Pada bubar viewers ngambek. Iya, Cok, anjing giliran gue lagi balas chat lagi kan nongol. Sekarang gue udah balas nih, beres balas chatnya, Cok. Hilang lagi nih viewernya, Cok.
Yeah, realistically, loose streaking all of Stage 2 is just fine. I think the positive outcome is the fights are close, you get some kills, you get some stacks, and that's really all the Jeduzor is looking for on these early stages. But we talked about how Riven can cap out, how it can win games. We've seen it falter, but this is when Jeduzor needs it most.
Talking about what he's looking for. First pick on the Stage 2 carousel. Doesn't have Heartsteel in yet. Has the Cassante Heartsteel headliner. Does he find a Yone? Does he find a set? Or is Riven going to be good enough with a bow?
Halo.
Potentially an 8-bit emblem.
Tolol juga nih. Streamer nih. Sebat anjing. Viewer gue ngambek tuh, sepi tuh anjing.
Yeah, no Heartsteel available here, so it just doesn't feel like the bow, which is already pretty good to pair up with the itemization that he has on the bench. I think
viewernya ngambek tuh, dikacangin sama streamer tuh, streamernya diem doang kan.
At least in the early game, having the pair, I'm curious. He still had Punkin, maybe he uses the 1 roll, sees if he can high roll, but if not,
nah ini nih ada Wahyu nih, kita ajak ngobrol Wahyu. Jadi bagaimana Wahyu pendapat kamu terhadap game ini, Wahyu?
Cheche, with the duplicators from
Nggak
before.
jadi min 1 langsung nemu. Dah elah.
Strong early borders, kept things mostly under control as Jedusor will hit the 2-star ribbon exactly as you said, Cass.
Next set katanya mau
katanya
mau ada turnamen lagi.
Ya
nanti gue udah nyampein sih kayak yang sekarang pada kecewa kan sama turnamennya.
I think there's a lot to be said to listening to what the game wants to give you on any given day.
Nah, kalau gue ke Jakarta, gue bisa ngomongin langsung sama orang Riotnya soal turnamen ini. Masalahnya gue nggak tahu gue ke Jakarta apa kagak ada duit anjing.
I think it's interesting because when you look at his spot, you're like, oh, but he's broke. This just can't
Gue nggak nemu Vigo buat penta. Mampus. Cangcimen aku Mijon Spirit anjing. Sombong Jo, sombong Jo anjing. Ditanyain nggak jawab Jo anjing.
And because he's a lot of gold is going into leveling via clear mind, he'll actually hit 7 on pace that he needs to actually be rolling down for the Riven 3.
And the fact that he found these Rivens
live-nya cuma buat backsound gue main TFT, bangke emang anjing. Gue jadi radio Cok, tolong. Tolong gue jadi radio anjing. Halo.
Mai from Japan, we haven't seen too much of as of yet.
Going
for Rich got Riches and looks like Heart still attempt for the
Soalnya
game.
lagi mana? Yang kan gue udah bilang, itu udah gue omongin penting. Berhubungan sama Nusantara Cup ini, Cok. Makanya gue harus balas chat, penting anjing. Demi keselamatan bangsa dan negara anjing, makanya gue cuek bentar, ye. Batu anjing.
Slam, a Sunfire, and a Shiv. It's because he has Salvage been making the best use of his augment to have some tempo slam.
Malas radionya kayak gayeping goblok anjing. Udah bilang tuh. Ini demi turnamen masa depan ini, TFT masa depan Cok anjing. Yeah.
What is this game?
Malah ngambek anjing Pure tuh.
A lot of them, they've been creeping up. Trying to give some people either some direction or just power early on, but JJ finding the Seraphine immediately as a potential.
Tapi kok lu pada masih pada betah sih main TFT ini? Gue jadi penasaran. Gue aja set sekarang udah males main sebenarnya Cok. Waktu luang gue isinya bukan main TFT lagi, gue udah bosan sama set sekarang aja.
4 Bruiser, 1 Ahri. I mean Ahri actually can work out great as the carry playing in the Bruiser composition.
Ahri dan 4 om cuy.
Ahri can work, but you might want to find a
Bang Gura mana nggak tahu net hilang anjing.
I don't think you want to solo carry the Ahri with the Bruiser board.
It definitely puts me in mind of the Ahri Sentinels board. We've seen this before.
Satu Ahri 4 om.
You've got 4 Bruiser in right now. Not an insignificant amount of punch to back up that Ahri's damage.
You can make 30 here as well. You can slam the red buff if you like it on the Ahri. If you're thinking about playing something more like an Ezreal later on in the game, even just the TF can hold it and then move into legendaries.
Soalnya gue bosan main Dota, belum master. Belum masternya oke sih. Belum masternya bener. Itu jadi motivasi buat main bener. Gue kayaknya kalau belum master juga gue masih niat main.
I didn't expect to be doing quite that well this point. It's 41 gold in the bank and a 5-round win streak as well. That's certainly a great setup for the push through later. Jedusor again, another one of those 3. Has not found any more Ribbons since then, but still the ball's looking good and the items are looking good.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely playing Riven. You see the slams, Quicksilver alongside the Bloodthirster. And, you know, we were talking about Jedusor as like, oh, maybe I want to play Heartsteel this game. And then he was gifted the Rivens. And Jedusor says, well, why not both? I think we'll play Heartsteel and Riven, and we'll try and collect a couple of items along the way.
This augment, so important for Jedusor if he's committing to this Riven line. Unlike most other comps, Riven really needs specific augments. She needs combat power to elevate her to that first place. A second won't do it, a third won't do it. He needs to find that big result in this final game.
Lagi stream disco, siapa tahu ada bansos. Goblok anjing. Stream disco, goblok. Ngapain anjing? Bang, tar lagi juga udah nggak ada disco.
Very poor unless you find the right augments. He needs to get these rerolls going. Tiniest Titan blind.
Dapat Ahri awal ngecit Cok.
No, absolutely not. We gotta reroll.
Satu Ahri 4 om anjing.
Needs to find the damage.
Bedaran nih lobby prismatic day.
Definitely, as you said, not gonna be enough.
Here we go. Now we're talking, Board Dog. Thank you very much.
You know, we talked about this quite a bit and how Jeweled Lotus is actually actually one of the best augments for Riven, and it doesn't feel so intuitive because you look at Riven and you say, well, I don't actually need this line of text that says my ultimate can crit. However, you know, you're already slamming Quicksilver, you get 40% extra crit. Now those big auto attacks start just slaying.
Gak ada disco seperti bandit tanpa Sena goblok.
Players agree. Cheche also on Jewel Lotus. Juken also on Jewel Lotus on the bottom side there.
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely fantastic for that invisible fourth item, an extra push of power. Jedusor still, you know, making sure that he keeps himself nice and cozy here. The items continue to be slammed and ready to be moved across the river when the moment is right. That moment isn't quite yet, though.
We passed the first test for the Riven board. Now the second test is coming up. The stage 3 carousel. Can he find a spatula to be able to slam a bow onto it and find a 6-8-bit later in the game?
Oh, he's not going to be able to actually have first pick, I believe, by in this spot. We'll see how it actually shakes out, but it looked like a couple
bikin
people
story ke master berkat disco ajakan Peter siapa tahu FYP goblok
Oh no, he actually fell all the way.
Goblok.
Yep, one more fight to try and
Gak ada kurang gak asik streamernya ngomong sendiri. Iya, Cok. Gak ada yang bisa gua ajak ngobrol anjing. Butuh orang nih gua buat diajak ngobrol, Cok.
Has the Seraphine coming together.
Pokoknya tidur kan, hilang.
Getting the item slams in pretty aggressively here. Eggy has been on a loss streak, but maybe that might be about to at least soften, if not change.
Yeah, of course, the salvage bin, right? He's going to always slam these items down. Ended up going for the Determined Investor, trying to make some extra gold here. Diamond Hands also gives him a third frontline item to go alongside with these backline items, so Eggy can continue to try and play through that. As we look at Mai, going to be on the other side, has been lost quite a bit. Very rich
ajak
on
Siri
level
aja,
6,
Bang.
looking to push potentially to
Gue gak punya Siri dah.
Yeah, has a heart still in place as well, alongside
Ada
that
sih.
riches, so definitely
Gimana
trying to
caranya
play
gue
for a
ajak
big
Siri
win
ke
out in this
Discord
game.
kok,
Rich, yeah,
ngobrolnya
but
sama
certainly
Siri.
with its own share of rewards.
Buset.
See the board here from Eggy that's been newly put together. He's doing his job very well.
Mangat Yeping, makasih Nadia.
I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna put my
Mending lu ikut Discord gak sih biar ada yang bisa diajak ngomong aja. Gue disuruh Yeping sendiri goblok. Makasih Nat. Mayan modal pergi ke Jakarta cuy. Nusantara Open Final cuy.
Everything is going right for Jedusor.
This road, the golden road for Jedusor, is paved in spatulas and big hopes and dreams. The bricks are being laid here for the road to a potential first and a potential day.
Now he needs exactly one specific headliner. I'm not going to celebrate until he finds an 8-bit Riven, hopefully with very little gold.
We have seen it time and time again of players
Nonton
getting
Nusantara
stuck.
di mana?
They need to find that
Di
perfect
beberapa
headliner,
streamer yang nge-stream dia main Nusantara tuh. Nggak, belum ada itunya. Belum ada kayak bakal di stream di mana gitu.
Likely going to show up on that 4-1.
Anjing 5 hard steal.
Was not ideal. It's why I was grimacing a tiny
8
bit. It's maybe the last component you want on a board like this. He's rolling now. 20 gold only to work with. Surprise.
All right, that's 8-bit.
8-bit Garen.
I think he knew he couldn't milk the hard steal for another cash outs because he would be rolling for the Riven anyway. So it makes sense to roll down a little bit here and at least preserve HP the next 2 rounds.
Okay, well, that's another brick put in the wall there. We know that 8-bit
Berani banget.
Possible to reach up to that 6th version. Oh, no, can you see the item slams? Presumably this is just a stake.
Oh, of course.
Don't wait for the headliner.
Oh, mau dikuatin dulu.
It's a good rental, right? Because you're just getting extra 8-bit.
Gini guys, main Riven cenah.
Does not have that 6 immediately online.
You're selling the Garen anyway, so you know those items will be swapped.
Bang, min 1 spot buat 68 bit nih. Ada nih di layar.
Hopefully make it to above 50 after the Wolves PvE round. And we'll see if that'll be enough
gold
to
datang
actually
deh
hit the
di
board he
Jakarta
needs.
Arena.
As you mentioned, Castle, the weirdest thing. He
Iya,
has all the abilities
datang
except for the
datang,
one cost
Cok.
Morty.
Datang aja. Gue berangkatnya harus nabung dulu anjing buat bisa berangkat. Datang aja udah.
With the Riven, and then hopefully in this big roll down that he's got on 4-1, you can find the 1 cost. Surprised me. Well, of course he couldn't hold it throughout the game because of clear mind. I totally
Sena cuy.
That, but yeah, it's a big reason why he's not able to have that 1 cost.
Yeah, it's an awkward line for Jedusor, but we'll see how well he can navigate it. Ryu, I'll see you roll up. One of our 3 players looking for that first place finish does have the double Infinity Edge. A very, very nice board being put together here that's kept him winning for a very long time, almost 2 full stages.
Oh, he's going to win 2 full stages. I mean, look, it's Jedusor on the other side. There's no way that this, pieced together board of the Garen headliner is going to make it done. And this Freaky Friday being able to give all these extra stats to the front line and the back line here with the Olaf and the Urgot. Ziwe just trying to win streak, try and go as much HP preservation as possible.
Curious if G-Wes tries to follow similar footsteps that Skip Payas had in that Game 6 yesterday, where he played with a double Infinity Force for that duo carry between the Zed and the Akali. Both great users playing into the vertical true damage instead, but no spatula here. We'll see what his roll down looks like at 4-2, I imagine. He's going to have so much gold to work with thanks to the win streak. The big roll down will be coming in through Jedusor, though. 4-1 is the pivotal
Bang,
moment.
TF kehabisan kartu, damage-nya geli-geli, mukul Riven gak berdamage lagi gimana, Cok?
Yeah, he got his way up to 40 gold. He should be able to get near 50 after these neutrals.
Itu di live chat ada yang lagi main disco.
One specific headliner.
Streamnya lagi dijadiin mode radio, Cok.
Sure if 50 will be enough.
All right, let's go and check it out. If it's going to be the real deal, the sellers already happened. The roll down.
Corki.
Corki's in place. We have one. Another Caitlyn.
Hashtag disco jelek lah goblok. Kok di shop jadi cupu? Lah ya kak, sejago-jagonya orang kalau nggak ngehit ya tusun.
Come on. Egi hit Seraphine 3. It's a big
Di
hit
shop
as well.
masuk Nusantara Open nih. Ronde 1 nggak lolos.
Slow rolling, gonna just level up to 8.
Way to roll down on 4-2. I'm curious if Jedusor did manage to finally hit. He's rolled down to 4 gold.
No.
And he has
Found
two riven pairs.
2 riven pairs. I don't know if they fit or not, but I assume it is.
We have to believe, just as hard as Jedusor must have to believe in himself in this game.
Bang Yan miss you
the
tuh.
power to get punching through these boards early on. The Argots
Miss
from
you,
before still
tenang.
proving their worth on the 3-cost champion portal.
And what a start for the CN player. 11 win streak, now a massive roll down coming through. Maybe even a huge combat augment coming through at 4-2 as well to continue maximizing the strength here. Finds the Edgelord Riven Headliner, not the 8-bit. Might be a rental.
I don't know though at this point if he's got enough money to be,
Mana
to be
anjing?
picky about that and try and go
Oh iya,
down again.
tet
Silver
tet
also could be a fast approach. There's no
tet.
extra gold injections being found here.
Level
to
7
try
udah
and
nabung.
refresh any economy.
Itu kayak gua turnamen tadi anjing.
Alright, we can see
Nih level 8 anjing, rollnya cuma 20 gold main disco. Halo?
We've got a pair of
Bang?
Zeds. Ended up getting picked up as Sona, a pair of Poppies as well, and 2 Ezreals. A lot of pairs found, but no completed units for ZUA.
Gila,
Does
coy,
look
itu
like it will
tuh.
be the Poppy headliner though, is being played around.
He's taking down his gold all the way to 0. We'll see if he can maintain the 11 win
Iya,
streak as a
anjing.
massive way of continuing that gold.
Ih, tumben
injection.
dikasih lihatnya
That
kalau
win
down
streak goal
semua.
itself, which is going to be massive considering the 11 rounds he's won already.
Anjay injit.
ZUA forward being correctly read out from before. We're starting to see the units going to
Anjit,
place instead up to
anjit.
full itemization.
Anjit.
The Edge of Night is on the opposite side from Skipper, so we haven't seen a ton of. Has brought out the hologram board, but not the hologram board which we've seen a few times before.
I'm curious about the Giant Slayer on the Zed. I would really like to see the Infinity Force on the Zed and Giant Slayer on the
Iya,
Ezreal
karena
instead,
intinya
but
bukan di
I am
Ezreal
sure
sekarang.
that ZUA knows a lot better than me how to itemize these units coming into a round where he needs to win.
Ezreal tuh
to try
jadi
and make
yaudah,
top eight, to try and
secondary,
play the day three
support
tomorrow.
lah,
Winning
anjing.
pace here, 12 win streak now for the CN player.
Yeah, still at 100 HP.
Kayak selama item Z-nya full gitu kan bagus. Ezreal bintang 1 juga bodo amat anjing.
12 full wins, having this massive HP lead.
Aku baru tahu Jazz bagus padahal dulu dapat spatula jarang dijadiin Jazz. Emang gitu, orang-orang juga pada tahu Jazz bagusnya telat
So
tuh.
much more difficult for Jedusor, who we're seeing here has sold. The Riven Headliner is looking for the 8-bit Riven, but is now at 3 gold. He can't find it. He can't buy it, even if he does find it. This is starting to look tragic. Of course, the risky play, it's an all or nothing kind of combo that we've seen fail a lot this weekend.
I just don't know about this, but Jedusor made his choice and he's going to have to live or die with it.
Kyler Reroll KDA-nya bagusan Ari apa Akali? Kalau Akali Kartus, kalau Akali kan combo sama Kartus, cuma Akali Kartusnya tuh kayak jelek tau nggak, mendingan Ari sekalian gitu loh. Bantu Kyler-nya bunuh tank, kalau kayak Ari, Akali Kartus tuh masanya ke belakangnya ya udah nggak ada yang mati juga, Kyler-nya nggak mau ke belakang tuh. Iya ini.
Even the Riven here would not matter. He just needs
Poppy
the
Z di mana-mana lah ya emang.
We're going for the sword, trying to finish off any last items he needs. He did find a Caitlyn too early, but I don't think that'll be enough to carry.
Bang dapat namin dispo, ambil jangan ambil lah. Orang
gila
mana nolak namin dispo aja.
It's a specific headliner. It's so hard to try and pinpoint for exactly one.
Yeah,
Kayak topi bagus nggak? Bagus, pintar itu Caitlyn-nya cuy. Pusing nggak dapet Riven ya tuh.
With a massive win streak, but Eggy also thriving.
Finds one Riven One more roll doesn't get there. Qingqian finds the Vex 3 Executioners pretty online, but the front line very soft.
Gua 2/3 disco soalnya nggak dapet tarik layang nggak tahu.
Like it's going to be a bottom
Masa salah gua?
alongside Jetazor as they've both fallen down to 1 life.
Yeah.
Literally just the Riven headliner away. If he can survive one more fight, there's one more chance.
He's facing off against Eggy, one of the strongest players in the lobby. 6 win streak for the player who found the Seraphine 2 earlier on, and that's going to be the matchup here as well. The Nico holding on the fort.
Hashtag Riven jelek
walking up
anjing.
to heal her. The Seraphine cast
Hashtag
comes
Riven
onto the Riven.
scam
She doesn't get to the
anjoy.
backline either. She gets stuck on the front line. The Caitlyn cast comes through. The Rabbit on tech with the AP scaling. Is that going to be enough?
Yeah,
Riven is stuck for so long.
It's big, a lot of extra damage coming through. This bonus damage on Rabadons. The cast
Mang ini menang.
edge
Hah?
isn't enough. One more cast from the Caitlyn can come out. The Riven goes down, but the Caitlyn survives.
Hashtag Riven kadang bagus
Oh boy, it was a secret hidden tech. Genusaur lives another day.
Riven kadang bagus.
Doesn't
Cuma
get
delay ya ini.
Still
Gue
feels
coba
so
cepetin dulu dah.
Iya,
Iya, Cok.
Radiant
Ketinggalan
template.
jauh
Obviously,
anjing
that's
live
very
gue,
good
Cok.
Lucian as well here with the Rage Blade onto him. The Poppy headliner, very strong board for now, 3-win streak.
And UA is finally taking a loss here on 4-5.
Yang ketinggalannya jauh banget, Cok. Kali dua.
He's going to roll anymore. He's going to keep having these hard steal cash outs, and he can just push to level 9.
All right,
Kamu lawan siapa? Enggak, gue nggak lawan siapa-siapa.
It's going to take to try and find the headliner, but going up against Yugon with the Ari
Riven.
locked into the corner of the
No, but the
board.
Ori's on her.
Riven just isn't strong enough.
Anjing lah,
It's
nggak
down to the
ngehit,
Caitlyn by
anjing,
herself. I do not think there's a
Riven.
further reprieve to be found.
Look, Depcap might be an okay item for Caitlyn, but it's not
Kalahnya
good
sama
enough
apa?
for this
Ari
one.
Disco.
Jetazor
Alay.
not going to be able to get there. Falls down in 7th place.
Riven bagus kalau
That
pakai
means
Dylan
has to be
di.
very proud
Kalau
of this
nama lu
team.
bukan Dylan, Edgelord,
Insane
Maximus, jangan main
breakouts
Riven
for
lu.
the very young
Gak
French
ngehit
player we're seeing
anjing.
a lot more of, and what I assume will be a very long career in TFT. A great top placement, not top 8 maybe, but maybe top 10, top 12 in his first ever World Championship.
Yeah, that makes a big difference how big of a
Wah!
splash you can make.
Twin
But
Terror!
as
Oh,
you
hello,
said,
Grammy.
hopefully we'll be seeing a lot more of him to come. The lessons learned from this, I'm sure, will stay with him for the rest of his TFT career.
And now we turn our focus to ZUA and Eggy. They both are still able to find a spot in that top 8. They both
Ini
put themselves in
apa?
very solid positions to do
Ini
so.
apa kok
Both
ada,
with the
huh?
highest HP in the lobby. ZUA finally going to start taking some losses as he tries
Dari
to
mana
keep on
itu
up to
ada
level
Tom
9.
of Street sebelum mulai tadi?
Heartsteel works, Jouet is expected to have just more and more resources going into the late game, whereas the cap has been hit by Eggy. He's stabilized, he's healthy, yes, but where does he go?
Edgelord gak sih? Jadi fetish
Yeah,
Edgelord
that's the big
ini.
question is how can he actually cap
Oh,
this
enggak.
out? Usually you would say
Fetishnya
something like
Bruiser
Sona
cuy.
when it was the Spellweavers, but we haven't seen Sona find very much success
Oke,
at
juara
all.
dua
and
pakai
definitely
disco,
doesn't feel like the
kelar.
way to stand up
Bang,
to a
aku izin
hard
pakai
steel board that
disco,
is
semoga
capping
ngehit ya, atau
three
BC
fully
headliner
itemized
cepet.
carries already.
Monggo.
The ability to itemize legendaries later on.
Izinnya
he's
ke
certainly
murdoch,
very short
Cok.
on cash, but does find at least the Lulu to be upgraded. Maybe we'll be looking for that Ari a little bit
Yo,
later on
Bruiser.
to try and punch a little bit more power in. But again, the players who found their boards, particularly the center board here,
Kan,
will be very hard to
Gua
deal
kalau
with.
di kali 2 sampai
left
pojok
side,
tuh
Eggy's
suka
up
ngepris nggak jelas
Against
anjing.
Chiche. Seraphine versus Senna. Maybe Eggy's plan is just to stay healthy. Maybe a second will be enough for him. We're not entirely sure on the math yet.
Yeah.
The tiebreakers could be at 61, and that could be enough if he makes it to that point gap. He's able to
Popeye,
win
the
his last fight here,
Sailor
2
Man.
wins down in a row for Eggy, and wins that mirror matchup against Senna.
Yeah, it's a really good point you call out. As much as we were talking about, hey, play for first in this game, we do know they're 53 points, right? If you get 7, it still puts you to 60. That was the initial.
Tuh Riven, mana
target
tadi
we put
nyari
out. There's
Riven?
still a
Oh, nggak ada
chance
ya.
that you can find
Hehe.
it with that second.
Hehe,
You got an
anjing.
Ari now to replace the Lulu. Ari 2 can definitely make a big difference.
Oh boy. To be in these players' shoes, to
Riven.
make those kind of
Ini
decisions at
tekan.
this moment that could send you into the
Wait,
top 8 or away from it.
Andai.
Miguel, of course, yeah, we've still got to consider for our players who are trying to make it through to day
Tusun
3.
tapi ini nggak bisa naik
neither of
level
them
dia,
can-
anjing.
It's a possibility neither of them hit into the top 2, and neither of them get the spots at all.
Apa nih? Posisi aneh tadi, gua baru lihat.
Into effect for what players would make it or not.
Weh,
all
terbang,
the way into that
cuy.
day 3 and then into Worlds. Looking at this board now from Jiwei, still those Infinity Forces doing so much for the Poppy, for the Ezreal as well. The tankiness on the Poppy, especially holding that even shroud. The direct counter to the disco board is not doing enough just yet. The Ezreal one does not have enough damage to one-shot the TF, and TF is able to clean up. The Poppy can't do it by herself.
Yeah, actually a pretty significant loss.
Ada
A lot of
disco,
HP
ada
going down for
disco,
ZUA, but of course we
coy.
do know that this is going to be level 9, and on that roll down, I would expect the Ezreal to get hit as well, or even just find a way into a
Tapi itu
Jhin
diskonya
to
udah
reset.
tusun. Bentar lagi mati.
Close to elimination.
Nggak bisa level 9
He's
deh.
already through to the final 8 in day number 3, so he can more or less.
Betul top 4 kelasnya mah nggak akan menang ya. Nggak bisa level 9.
Gain as much intel as possible and
Tenang, saya sudah hafal soal
come.
disco.
Eggy's HP buffer game plan is working out until now, but a new challenger has risen up in the HP standing. 6 win streak for Mai, another Heartsteel player who can continue capping on his board. Maybe just waiting for everyone to die will not work out. Eggy has to find a way to cap out and win at least against one of the 2 Heartsteel players.
It looks like we might have another death coming through. Scape is falling very low now, running in.
Ezrealnya nggak ada mana lagi kan?
Thresh getting one last hook before he goes down.
Sukanya Ezrealnya banyak tuh bang hologram.
Senna just tries to shoot through the rest of the board. Now that's gonna do it for.
Oh, I love the Ezreal. He jumps up in the air, he readies his bow, and Senna just like goes pop.
Last game ini last game tuh.
So Scapeus is out of here, but again, his job has already been done with his previous game.
Haha,
That's
bete.
always quite a thing to
Weh, bete.
full group stage is over.
Gak mati-mati tuh Eko, anjing penuh
Been
lagi.
relying on the last surviving member, but not good enough.
Anjing.
That was a that was expected.
Okay, Ziz. I've seen these 1-6 popping off.
He's a
Back
tank and a DPS.
Toby.
Go.
We're looking now at the stage 5 carousel. The key 5 cuts have been instantly swiped and picked up by the first pickers, Cheche and Yugo. Zijue, Mai picking up a Steadfast, trying to make his front line just a little bit tankier, trying to solve the problem of that Seraphine damage raining down upon his tank.
Tuson dia cow udah nggak mungkin ini
Still
aja.
win streaking as well for the
Gak
Japanese
bisa level
player.
9 ini
Mai
disco
looking
ini
to play
kasihan.
spoiler against these two. Eggy has now overtaken Zue on the HP, but we do know that Zue should be pushing to level 9, and here it is. Another Heartsteel cash out on the way as well, but the roll down has not netted enough, I don't feel. There's not a lot of legendaries being hit. We just see the
No Lowy, no Diggs, no Jin.
No Ezreal 2-star either.
This is a little bit
Missed
sad.
everything, actually.
Especially with the Bruiser Emblem, you really want to have the
Masih
Lowy, I
HS5
assume, to try and
anjing.
fit in the 4 Bruiser to have that extra bit of tankiness. But also no RE2 for Eggy, so, you know,
Baru
hands
naik,
being
baru
shaken
naik ya
across the
kalau
board, no one's hitting anything.
HS5
Spending
begini sih
every
udah
piece
enak
of
kan.
money they've got available. There's barely any gold
Tuh lihat
left
tuh,
in the
MF
lobby
cosplay Jin.
at all, even while the HP totals at the top are more substantial. We do get to see our 2 players whose dreams are big going face to face.
Yeah, Jue versus
Jing.
Eggy. Both of them really want this fight.
Diamond
But the
Hand
other person
cuy.
is still contesting them on points. You want to be
Trot.
trying to drop them as early as possible.
Jing.
Try and make sure
Trot.
the spot can be yours. And it looks like right now Eggy does have the stronger board. Poppy trying her best.
Mati nggak sih tuh?
Not going to be able to get it done. And Eggy holding on
Cash
to his
out,
HP lead.
bos.
As Mai finally
Ayo.
loses a fight, which is incredibly important here.
That being said, still cash outs coming through. We talked about the capping nature of his Heartsteel board. The Lucian has been found. The Jazz Emblem has been found by the
Halo?
player. And talk
Polisi?
about capping your board, that's exactly what he needed.
Wow, that extra dose of power of the Bard.
Hello?
We're having ourselves Jazz 4 in the mix, and you can see there's a lot of traits active on the side.
Yeah, it is a massive way to cap out. In fact, maybe the highest way to cap out.
Oh
And
my
it
goodness, keep going.
There's the
Ezreal 2, stack 2.
Hello?
Up against the Disco Enjoyer, who will enjoy no longer.
Enjoy this L, actually, in this one, because I feel like the Ezreal 2 should make all the difference.
Oh boy, these are the moments that are the makings of a potential champion tomorrow.
Disco
coming together at speed. We check across the rest of the field. Of course, we're looking to see if there will be any further pushes towards elimination.
Curang anjing, orang main ADFX bisa gitu loh.
Not quite dead.
That's a
Kayak gue dari 20 game cuma sekali begitu.
All the upgrades, maybe Mai can also find what he needs to continue capping on his board, to continue contesting Eggy and Sidue for the win. Playing spoiler, Japanese player trying to finish on a high in this game 12.
Yeah, Eggy still able to keep these wins up on the 1-star Ari, so at least he has kind of a ways to go.
Eggy ini harapan saya nih cuy.
Honestly, for
Kejauhnya
Eggy, he's
meleduk
hoping that this
anjing.
game tries to end even faster. He's hoping everybody starts falling off. And that's
Bro, hitting so hard, anjing. Jangan iri. Iri, jangan iri, anjing. Kalau lu mau challenger harus main begitu anjing, harus nge-hit tiap game anjing.
So it's still saving a little bit of money. We'll find a little bit more courtesy of the round. We have got a little bit more itemization to put together for the Ari on the back line.
Gonna try and roll for the RE2. He can't go 9. He thinks there's not enough time. Gonna roll for the RE2, but can he even find that? A sad roll on up until now, especially compared to his opponent, Jizwe, who found so many big upgrades. The Lucian, the Zac, and the Ezreal. And a Lowy 2 has been found. Stark contrast between these two rolldowns.
There's no money left in
Halo?
the coffers there, and yeah, no RE2.
Lihat yang kanan, dia cuma nyari Ari sebiji aja. Enggak nemu.
Oh, look, it came with.
Okay.
There we go. That's good.
There's no scarier sight.
Lihat sebelahnya. Just hit, bro, anjing.
First in this game number 6, the left side there just looks like a dominant win. And Eggy on the right, the Seraphine already being crowded. The Senna clump comes through. The AoE damage, the Seraphine cannot out heal. And that's going to be a loss for Eggy, who has a lot of HP to work with at the very least.
Yeah, and Mai seemed like the only person that potentially could slow ZUA down. But now ZUA has taken care of
jelas
that.
anjing udah 4 Js level 9 tai.
Where's the Ari? Is really threatening to cap it out.
Yang kanan Arinya.
Where is this Ari? He's used so much gold to try and find it.
Just checking to see if we're going to be seeing picking up anywhere else. I mean, Cheche definitely has got one of the Aris themselves to try and deny a little bit longer.
Itu gimana di Nusantara Vego 3 kalah macet? Nggak tahu anjing, itu salah posisi pasti. Nggak mungkin Vego 3 kalah sama Diver kecuali posisinya aneh anjing. Oh, kena tuh. Kena Senna tuh Jet tuh. Itu hilang Jet.
Feeling that damage coming in from the Senna. Both clump now up together. The Ezreal misses, only hits the Ari. His aim is not ideal. The Senna, she can't. Too many damage dealers, too many threats on this Heartsteel board. A big loss for Cheche, and a big loss for Eggy as well. The Chinese players running away with this lobby, and we are not
ini udah menang anjing, udah gak usah dilihat, udah menang anjing ini orang curang dai.
With this one easily, he's got such a massive Heartsteel board, the Jazz emblem, the cherry on top. GUA should be able to win this game without a problem, putting himself in the best position to make top 8. But Eggy, a second place, could still do it. It is just Eggy versus Cheche. Can Eggy hold on a little bit longer?
17
game Ari mana ya?
Namanya ini anjing.
Ari mana ya?
Made of nightmares. The Seraphine is going to be able to cast into the big clump in the center, but we can see Nico just can't hold on against the tankiness of the Poppy, and the Zed ripping through the back line. Eggy destroyed.
He's down and Cheche won. Eggy gonna fall in third.
Terlalu gila anjing itu adeknya.
SCA will end the day on 59 points.
Don't tell me there's an Ari on this carousel. Okay, at the very least, you won't have to live that down, but the missing Ari, it'll be a question that'll be on Eggy's mind for such a long time.
Sampai besok cari Ari udah biji. Dia tinggal butuh satu doang itu anjing.
One upgrade away from having a massive spec on your board, chasing it for 2 stages and not finding it in the end.
Arinya ada dia anjing. Pokok gak sih bang anjing.
On your side on this day. You of course looking to try and extend this incredibly powerful
Lucian
board
2
and the Lucian
is
bound. Sometimes it rains and it pours, Cass, over the just and the unjust. That is going to be a huge step forward.
Yeah, able to find the Lucian, so even if GUA loses this one round to Cheche, will not stop the power train here. Being able to pick up even more. One more fight for GUA to lock in the best possible chance at making that top 8.
The split front line, buying time with the Zed immediately targeted by the Senna. Can the Senna get both the Zed and the Poppy down in one big AoE cash? She can, but it doesn't matter. She's almost dead. Look at this clear from the Ezreal. Dominating win from Jiwei, who
mukanya nyebelin anjing, kiri atas goblok
upgrade after upgrade after upgrade.
Nyebelin anjing, muka-muka orang jasit.
And the Ziggs, my goodness.
And win streaking until 4-5. I mean, honestly, this has to be
gimana caranya biar cepet level 10? Gue 9 susah, gak bisa tahan gue kan. Selama board lu udah kuat, udah lu gak perlu ngapa-ngapain, kumpulin duit. Lu laku.
I mean, this was the point in time where you get all the heartbreak really comes together for the players who can't make it, and for the ones who maybe can, they're going to be holding their breath. We will have our break ready. When we return, we shall find out for sure.
Kalau level 10, level 8, level 9 lu udah harus kuat dulu. Kalau lu udah kuat di 8, 9 baru bisa 10.
Where he is. Oh,
Iya anjing ada lagunya. Dah guys, bubar guys. Ntar kena copyright lagi, ngeri coy. Dah bubar. Hari ini segini dulu aja. Sampai jumpa besok. Besok gua nggak akan ngaret, janji. Gua nggak lolos soalnya. Hehe. Dadah. Besok nggak ngaret, janji dah. Bye.